I took pictures of all the pictures she took for him, all the pictures he sent her, text messages, everything, bro. It's all on my phone just in
Bucket list? She's a freak. Public quickie? I think that's weird, bro. By the way, I think that's so weird.
phone just in case
Off
she wanted to
body?
fucking deny or lie to me. It was all on my phone. I gave her phone back, told her she had to go.
Okay, but can't. There's nothing you can say to me right now. You did what you did. You gotta face that. You gotta go.
Meanwhile, hey, I'm feeling farther away from him. Why always something?
I can't be alive. I don't care.
Based.
I think like as a mental bug and shit, I think like we had some psychological shit going on very young because like when we were kids and
If this was me, I wouldn't even want to hear her talk. I would just be like, that's nice. Have a nice day. I don't want to hear about why you had sex with your cousin. I don't want to understand this. And I really mean this. I don't want to understand this. Please don't try to make me understand this.
like we were like really close to like
We were really
some part. You know, friend from that really really close to like some part. You know, friend from that really and family members were noticing too.
dude. Dude, I would be. The thing is that you can feel bad for this guy, and you can also say, bro, thank God you found out. Thank God. And that, bro, think about that. She for the streets? Oh, worse than that. Dodge a bullet, dodge a grenade. It's a cannon. It's a nuclear bomb.
It's so fucking
It's a It's like imagine like you have a kid with her, and the kid comes out, and it looks like like a bloodborne monster, and you're like, damn, like, did I do that? And it's like, actually, no, you didn't. No, you didn't think about that. Think, yeah, Alabama, Kentucky, the grafted.
so fuck your cousins. So fuck your cousin.
But it's just like, bro, man, my young boys out there, bro, learning experience, you can't trust these. I ain't gonna lie, you can't trust real best friends. You can't trust.
You can't trust cousins. You can't trust brothers, dude. This is gonna fuck somebody up for their whole life. Like that's actually you can't trust a brother. Like God, like that's actually insane, man. And no more ever. Like yeah, I guess you can't trust them anymore at all, guys. I really don't even know what streamer university alumni. Oh wow. No shit, the fuck. My buddy's mom ditched her husband to marry her meth head cousin. Jesus, how did his dad recover from that? Again, like, I really, what the fuck? I know, but for real, he should delete this. He just admitted, what is this here? Committing multiple felonies in Texas using an electronic device. Again, bro, like, honestly, I don't think that he really, like, it's too late now. It's already done. She's a cheating bitch, but cheating isn't a crime. Yeah, wiretapping a basic video. Oh God, who cares? Who's this Karen? And anyway, imagine finding this note in your girl's phone. Yeah, exactly. Bet she got fucking my cousin taken off the list. My high school sweetheart was secretly a prostitute on the side. Here I was paying the bills, planning a life with her, and she was bringing in more money than me. She had sex with three of our high school teachers after we graduated. Well, that's good. They waited until after she graduated. Because usually, while we were dating, she had so many sugar daddies. I always trusted blindly and I never snooped. She was violently jealous. I would go in her email reset and for the power bill password so I could pay it. Boom, 10,000 dick pics. So she's just, bro, she's shipping in them hot dogs by the wheelbarrow. That's a lot. Also, boomers apparently like to email their dick pics. Oh my god. And weird situation to be in. Weird to find out that she was just a side piece. Oh my god. I really. This is so fucking crazy. One of the biggest. Yeah, this is also, by the way, people say, oh, but this isn't a live stream fail. This is. Holy shit. In Canada and the EU, it's acceptable and legal to marry your cousin. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to be an American. We, we just fucked our cousins here. We're way better than they are. Okay? And why is everybody blaming? They fuck up some trauma and mental health? So you're asking the question of why is she avoiding accountability? I think you already answered your question. She. I mean, what a better duo. Yeah. And you, it's not. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I don't know what to say. Dodging accountability. My cousin's dick is nice, so glad he broke up. They're spying on his girlfriend while she's out of the shower using a camera and $9,000 litter box. I'm a bigger shame. The thing is, like, bro, she's fucking her cousin, but you're concerned about a camera and his own toilet Reddit moment right here? Yeah, exactly, right? Like I said, $900 AI litter box camera is pretty funny to find out. Yeah. And it's really like, but you can just like two things at once. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like the moment you find out that your girl has been living in your house, eating your food, spending your money, you've been paying her bills, and then you find out that this bitch is literally fucking her cousin, having sex with her biological blood cousin. Like that to me, I don't like. I mean, I guess you probably shouldn't like kill somebody over that, right? You probably shouldn't do that. But like he handled this like what I would say a profound gentleman would do. He said, "Yep, all right, you have to leave. You've got to leave. That's it." And also, by the way, it's out now. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. And yeah, Sweet Home Alabama. Oh my God. Biological brain. She told him that that was his cousin in order to be able to text and shit constantly. But even if it's not the cousin spreading, it's well deserved. No, she admits it to a private company. This guy still has some humanity left. But don't worry, that'll be over soon. God forbid women have hobbies. Honestly, I guarantee you, you posted this on Twitter, and you would have like 4 or 5 Floyds in the comments saying, Karen fucking team, man. Karen fucking team. The Trump thing about NBC, I saw a little bit about that. I'm not going to look at that too much, but yeah, she was fighting for him too. So I'm not gonna make a comment on this, right? Like, I can't. But and the thing is, though, is like that's what's crazy. It's like I mean, I would say she's hot. I would. I would say she's drank. She's hot. Like, what the fuck, man? What? Because like you would expect this is something that somebody would do if they were like, like the meme about like the polyamorous relationships and everybody there looks like a kind of like if you made a hamster into a human being and then you spray painted it 4 different colors that were all different shades of blue, pink, and green. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean that's really very hot. Yeah. So that's really it. Too bad she's not your cousin. Who's this guy, bro? Like, who's this guy in Shallow? We gotta do something about him. She has OnlyFans? Yeah. And I wonder, the thing is that it's actually crazy. Like, I've heard so many stories. It's so bad. I've heard so many stories like these girls that will start up with OnlyFans, and they're like, not super popular. They only make like $100 a month, or something. And one of the first people that subscribed is like their stepdad. And I just think to myself, I say, thank God, bro. Thank God my life is not like this. Thank God, like that's the kind of stuff, bro. Like I would never. This will fuck you up for your whole life, right? This will fuck you up for your whole life. Like I really, it's just too much. You get a family discount, yeah. Only fams, come on, only in the family, only cousin. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I don't know, man. I feel like it does. I do. Not to mention like school teachers and other adults whenever you turn 18. Like I just think that shit's weird as fuck, man. It really is. And I just honestly, guys, I am, like women have privileges in life and they have advantages and, things can be better for women. But I really got to tell you, every day I wake up in the morning, I thank God I was born a man. I do. I think to myself, oh my God, like imagine if that could have been me. Imagine if that could have been me, it would have been awful. And oh yeah, me too. Exactly. Like for all the advantages they get and everything else, like I would not even for a second go and act like it was anything other than some weird ass shit. And so I vacuum towards this cat after I mess up the carpet. The cat messed up the carpet. What is this? I'll find the rest of this here. One of the best moments in gaming history. Nah, bro. Like it wasn't this. Domino's Gaming. Like, isn't it crazy that Domino's is making better Twitter posts about gaming than most other people? Like, I really don't know what that is. Viral Trump is, yeah. Yeah, so Trump, yeah, I saw this. We're going to look at this, and then we're going to look at some other stuff, right? And did she unlock the Twitter drama created? I guess so. A toothless female asthma might be too much for folks to handle. Like, I will never, like, this is a shit, like, this even, like, halfway traumatized me. It did halfway traumatize me, like, my mom. So, she wanted to leave the hospital and she was determined. She said, "I'm leaving the hospital. Like I am of sound mind. I'm just a bitch." She just said basically, right? She's like, "I'm not crazy. I'm just an asshole." And like, she's like, "I'm leaving this hospital right now." And she's like, "You either come get me, or I'm gonna find a way out." And I knew that she would. I knew she would. She would cause some problem. And I'm driving her home, right? And this, by the way, like I tell jokes about this, but this is like one of the worst days of my life. Like I was so unhappy, so stressed out, so sad, so scared. It was terrifying for me to deal with all this. It's horrible. But all that being said, right? Like, but now we go back, we laugh at it, right? And so she's on the. I'm driving her back. Well, I'm on the highway with her. She's like, "Man, it's a good thing that you pick me up." And I said, "Why is that?" She says, "Well, I was going to have to ask a trucker for a ride on the way back, and I don't have any money, but I don't have any teeth, and they say that makes it better." And I was just like, I was like 30 years old. I was like 31 years old, and she says this shit's making like this is my 70-year-old mother. This is 70. I'll never forget, bro. Even that, like fucking low key traumatized me. So like, I can't even imagine what this dude was going through, man. Like that was, I heard that, and I was like, that shit fucked me up, man. It did. And yeah, only fuck, I was expecting it, like, who would say that? And yeah, it's insane the laws of the road. And that's wild, yeah. And so anyway, and I think it's huge. I mean, it's obviously fun joking around, but like, it's still really funny. It's ridiculous. We're not going to watch a 32-minute video. Like, we're not going to do that. But we'll watch just a little bit of it. All right, so before we start, there's some information that needs to be given before we jump in on everything. Number one, when shit is posted, it's not it. It is made up of courseness. Like it's nothing new. If it's out there, everyone can use it, right? This is not about that. This is more specifically about me create a little bit of context. This guy, his name is Moody. He's actually been in my chat before. We know. And he is accusing Mr. GM, that's another wild content creator, of stealing his ideas for his content videos. So a content creator that has been over me like a freaking hog on everything I'm doing.
When I post something, he does it similar. When I make a guide about something, he literally checks it out the day after, and then he makes also a guide about it. The freaking time for years. That is not something that's happening. This is the thing. Because they both do start. Imagine if we had one kind of distinction saying to another radio station, why do you guys keep copying? We said it was going to rain on Tuesday. You can't fucking say that. Like, we already fucking said this. We figured out that it's going to rain on you can't go. They just keep saying the same shit that we're saying. Like, how does this happen? So, come on. Let's get some examples for this. But, have you guys ever seen any kind of credit with my name? It's even ridiculous. You should literally go out, come clean about this stuff. Especially, I mean, he's coming in pretty hot here. Like, if he has a heart and he's stealing everything, he needs to be credited, etc. This is a lot. Now, we're going to go into number two. Since there are viewers out there that will television this video, you will try to find like timestamps here and there, some seconds here and there, and be like, oh, look what this guy said, haha, lol, what the fuck. It's not like that. But take it out of context instead of looking at the entire video as well. You're gonna try to find some bad things here. Don't try to give a me into watching the whole thing, man. Come on. Where are the examples? Okay, we've got some examples. Oh, wait. Oh, we've got examples. Holy shit, we've got real examples. About what I'm saying and what I'm showing. And the question is, why would we do that? Well, number one, people follow him. He's a big creator. People have some kind of bond to him. People have met him, stuff like that. So it's going to be hard to actually understand what is shown and try to have the closed eye instead. Now, we all saw what happened with the tweet that I did the other day. People went in like freaking hyenas. So that's why I'm saying one more time, if this person has a heart, he should definitely come out and come clean and admit what he has done. I mean, I think that's a little bit wrong. You can't just say everybody disagreed with me, so it's the other person's responsibility to tell everyone that I'm right. That's not a very good argument, is it? I don't think it's a very good argument at all. You can take it from there and see what we can do. So now this is to you. What if the person sitting here was someone that is very special to you? What this was one that is a relative? This is a bad argument too, because there's a reason why you have the jury for different trials in court not being family members or friends of the people that are affected by the court case. And it is in the pursuit of objectivity. So you can't use an argument like, what if this was happening to a person? Oh, Mr. GM is in chat. Yeah, we're going over your stuff, bro. Why are you stealing everybody's stuff? What are you doing stealing everybody's videos, man? What the fuck? Like, somebody really care about it. And it's not people are going to be biased for a person they care about. This is a bad argument. Person, what would you say then? Anyway, let's move on. Number three. Now, this video has nothing to do with money, nothing to do with how you don't want to be seen or anything like that. Now, before you start laughing and be like, whatever, I'll tell you why. First things first. I'm banned on AdSense. Banned on AdSense means you don't get a single krone, a single dollar on anything you show from YouTube. I've been banned since 2012. I've been doing these videos. You have ads on your channel though. Like if you're banned on YouTube, like a YouTube video is just simply a portal to get people to go to your website, right? And your website has an embed of your stream that is, let's see if it's partnered or not. It is partnered, or it's at least affiliated. So you're still making money off of the YouTube videos, but it's just indirect. So to say that you don't make any money off of YouTube videos, and then you don't care about that, that's an argument for why you shouldn't care about views or money. This isn't a strong argument because you're embedding your channel to give yourself more views on Twitch, and then your Twitch channel is at least affiliated, maybe partnered,
And on top of that, you have ads on your website. And your website is the primary thing that you have linked everywhere else. So while you might not be making money off of YouTube, you are making money through YouTube, and YouTube is a tool for you to make money, although it is not direct. I don't like whenever people say things that aren't true. It's intentionally misleading. Why are you saying something that this is dishonest? Why are you saying things that are dishonest? I don't understand this. What if it's unintentional? Oh, you think the ads got there for the ads? Just like, oh, where do all these ads come from? I remember I used that argument with looking at porn on my computer and on like the family computer in like 11. Like, Mom, all these porn ads came up. I don't know where they came from. She didn't believe it either. She slipped and fell on all these ads. Because it's fun, nothing else. So making a video like this, well, look at the likeness like I'm just doing it for fun. You're making money off of it. It's okay to make money off of it. Why? What's wrong with this? Why? What is this? What's going on? Like, I love money. Money's great. What's wrong with wanting money? Make sure. Look at it right now. And then ask yourself again, am I actually doing this because I want people to like me? I want them to be seen? All right, now we come that you do want people to like you. That's why you were wanting Mr. Beast. It's another Mr. GM. You're wanting Mr. GM to come out and clear the air and make people see that you were right. That's why you wanted to do it. Is because you want people to like you. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting people to like you. Well, what's with this dishonesty here? I don't understand it. Look at number 4. Now, since I saw those hyenas on the Twitter, this has nothing to do one of the Warcraft use that we talk about when it comes to content. Okay. It has nothing to do with anything that's been data mining. This is literally stuff where you have to be in the game, in the PTR or beta, whatever it is. That was a bit of a jump. His views in YouTube are low, and conversion to Twitch subs would be ridiculously low, if any. Um, as somebody who's massively benefited from YouTube and my Twitch channel benefiting from it, I don't think that's really true. And I think that even if it's a minor effect, it still is an effect. This website gets a lot of traction. Maybe it does. Is and spend several hours for several days for anything that you want to do research about to figure out how things are working. I'm not popping up like something here and something there. My God's about stuff to how it works and figure out ways to solve different things or ways to queue up in a fast way and stuff like that. Sure. So you have to do a lot of research in order to do this. So when I'm doing all these things and see how it works and stuff like that, and suddenly he pulls out something about from his ass that he has done for like 10, 20 minutes, and he has figured out how everything works. That took literally several hours or weeks to figure out. That doesn't go to my brain. He's literally playing TTS every stream and 1 to 2 hours of PTR. That's what he's doing. That's even insane on the streams that he plays TTS off screen. Number 5, which is one of the way he has responded to, I think he meant PTR. He must have been PTR. Towards this, when I'm actually telling him to stop doing what he's doing, instead of reaching back, talk about it, discuss about it, see where the problem is, and take it from there, he has been insulting me. He has been insulting my stream. He has been insulting my website. He's insulting my content. And so, if a person tells you to stop doing something, instead of talking to the person as a grown-up man, why would you listen to somebody else that tells you what to do? Why is he under any obligation to listen to you? Who are you? He's not. He has no obligation to listen to your grievance. He has no obligation to hear you out. He has no obligation to agree with you. He has no obligation even to have to hear you. The entitlement with this is very big. And he shuts the door and won't talk shit about Bush instead. And not only that, he's been manipulating his viewers about what the situation has been. He's been manipulating his other friends, content creators, how the situations have actually been. He's been giving them a certain point of view that is literally a tunnel on how it actually is. Number 6. Okay.
There are people that has been feeling the same way, other content creators that have been feeling the same way, and been through the same I've been through from Mr. GM. And then question is, why have they not come out? Why have they not told everyone about what is actually happening? Well, I'm gonna tell you why now. Because doing something like this, like sitting my team and talk about all this shit, is ruining your career.
Well, it doesn't. I disagree. I think it only ruins your career if you're wrong.
Now you might think, what about my career? I'm gonna tell them, my career is that I have a PhD in genetic knowledge, which means I'm a fucking pro when it comes to genetics and immune system. I'm a teacher and I'm a scientist. So that is my career. This stuff is my hobby.
Good for you.
So if there's anyone that should come out and tell the world what he's been doing, I'm the one that should do that.
Okay.
Now, all that said, I'm going to tell you the story. So let's start the whole thing. All right. Now, I'm going to read quite a lot when I say these things because I wrote them down. I don't want to miss anything. That's that. I want everything to literally be.
No, I find that to be a relative argument, a relatively good argument. What he's saying is that my career is not based off of this. I do this, and I have other real life obligations and things going on. I actually think this is kind of fair for him to say. He's saying that other people don't want to do it because they don't have another option. He's saying, I do. This is why I am going to do it, and this is my time. He words it in a way, and like to be fair, like I've been pretty negative about what he said so far. So it's going to seem like he's wrong because people are like they're following it, and everything else he said I pretty much disagreed with, and to some degree. But him saying this, I actually don't think it's a bad thing to say.
Video. So, back in Shadowlands. That's when I saw this person for the first time on screen. He seemed like a nice guy. I followed him and I subbed to him. When I subbed, I noticed it was a weird reaction. Not a thank you or anything, just a shocked face. I didn't think more of that at that time. You know, people are different in the world, people react different, people are who they are. It is what it is. So, since this person is doing similar things as me, I thought it was super cool that I can watch someone that's doing the same stuff as me, and maybe we can figure stuff out together. What I started noticing was that he was not happy when people told him things, not only me telling other people as well, on the chat, about PTO stuff. Now, I found it very odd because this is not a new game that is out, and you don't want any backseaters to tell you this and this and that. So this is something that is on testing. We're trying to figure out how things are working, what is new, and stuff like that, right? For example,
I think people probably wouldn't want to hear about it because they're not talking about it on the stream, right? It's like somebody wouldn't want to hear about PTR whenever they're doing a transmog run or something because they're talking about something else. Yeah, I don't think this is a strong argument.
when I do it on my stream, I love when people come to me and be like, "Oh, well, did you see this? Did you see that?" Well, then we do stuff together and figure stuff out together and stuff like that. So I thought it was very odd that he reacted that. At the same time, I also noticed another major thing, which is the cool. When I found something on PTO and checked how it worked and put a lot of time and effort and a lot of trials and errors to see how this works, and finally made a guide about it, once I published it, and only once I published it, the day after, or if I did it during the weekend after, because he doesn't stream on weekends, the weekend after, he started looking at the exact same things on the stream. And also saying all the time, wow, that's shitless. Oh, that's mentionless. And every time he says that, he goes into our head and into our the reference that he's shitless. So I saw this.
Okay, so what he's saying is basically Mr. GM is taking his video ideas and then passing them as his own. I think passing them off as your own is kind of problematic, but everybody steals everybody's ideas. Like, I remember I would see other people's videos and I would watch them and I'd be like, this sucks. I can do this way better. I'm going to go do it myself and it's way better. Everybody watches my video and their video sucks. That's just how it is. And also, I think that if you are, and this is kind of like what the problem is, this kind of goes back to the weather example at the beginning, is that if you actually have the best farming method, would it not be logical to assume that other people arrive at the same conclusion that you do? Because, for example, like I made a lot of videos in like Warlords of Draenor and Cataclysm, and even leading into Legion, that were very popular videos. Like here, I'll give you a good example of this. So, what's up, y'all? It's me. Should wear as we go. Incident. And so anyway, this video here, I was the first person to do this grind. I was the first person. You will never see another video, as far as I know, that predates this video on December 24th, fucking Christmas Eve. Big Dick Never Stops. And 2013 that did this for me. And do you know why? Because nobody was as good as them. Nobody had the gear I had, and nobody could do it. I was the first person who even had the ability to do it. And most people couldn't do it until Warlords of Training. Because this is back whenever I was doing the game. I had full Mists of Pandaria, Siege of Orgrimmar, Warforged, fully upgraded gear. I was a fucking god. Every single parse I had was orange. I had multiple top 10 parses in the world. I was just one of the best. That's all there is to it. So, of course, I was the first person to make this video. It's natural. And so, after I made this video, let's go ahead and take a look at this. WoW Gold Farming, Bastion of Twilight. It's a lot. A lot of people steal my idea. And do you want to know why I found it first? It's because I was playing the game all fucking day, the same as he is. And on top of that, I was on the cutting edge. And nobody else was able to do it before me. That's it. Yeah, 1 to 2 years later. People couldn't do this until Warlords of Draenor. So what I'm saying is like this is just the way things go. As soon as you put a video out, oh, I'm just drinking soda. Yeah, I would just play live. Like back then, I would just like turn on my camera and be like, all right, guys, we're going to do a video. So I would record everything live, one take, the whole thing. The reason why is I just didn't want to have to deal with having to cut. That's it. Yeah, it's the same cut, by the way. They'll get all that damage. You think people could do that normally? Absolutely not. They're 2 million DPS. It's just normal for me. I remember trash cans that would make this farming spot. They had to run out of the instance to make these guys despawn because they couldn't do the damage. But yeah, I had the same thing happen with me. Everybody is going through this. This is a normal progression of content. And also, other people found this. It doesn't necessarily mean they stole it from me. It just means that whenever they had the ability to do it, they saw, oh wow, this is a really good idea. Let's do it. That doesn't mean that like I own the idea. I don't have a trademark on this idea. It's just that I was the first person to do it and capitalize on it. And then other people, whenever it became available to the public because of live streaming and stuff, then they were able to do it after that. Upload to the internet equal it's ours now. Exactly. And that's just how things go. So for Luther, I saw three. I saw three. What kind of place? So I also I thought, fuck this guy. The more time I went, the more I saw his name popping up on my Twitter feed. And many times I saw the different tweets, I was like, wait, what? That kind of reaction I got. Because it was always like after I publish something, I see these things. So I started watching this video. And with the same pattern as before. After I published a guide or something new that I found PTR, he started to look at it on his stream, saying the same stuff. No one check this and go change this pattern continued. If Mr. G's videos are better though, and he's competing with you in the free market, and people choose to watch his videos and not yours, I think that's a tough shit situation. Sometimes it's better to be best rather than first. There are a lot of people that bring out videos about things that aren't very good, and then somebody else brings out a video that's actually very good, and that video is now the definitive video. Into Dragonflight as well. 23rd February this year. Dragonflight has been out for a while. I previously published a guide called Arts and Curiosity, which took many days on stream to find and others fall on the 13th and rares. Figure out
with several people that have been on the stream as well with me, helping each other out to figure out how things are working. This took loads of time to figure out. Eventually,
Yeah, I did this stuff myself before to Draenor. This stuff does take a lot of time.
the guide came out. Now, this has been in a very long time looking field about partial cubes. But the day after I published it, Mr. Jimmy tweets that he's going to go live and he will check exactly the state of partial cubes. And not only that,
Checking out new profession things and wondering if they do on a Forbidden Reach. Also opening every door. I missed you. Let's catch up. And then Moody says, "Stop it. Just stop it. It's getting way too obvious now." Now, Moody, I'm going to have to be honest, man. This is 100% main character syndrome. Nobody thinks this is fucking obvious except for you. Nobody is watching your guides, keeping track of what they are, and then making the decision on it. Like, this is, come on, man. Like, I'm not even saying that you're wrong, but like, this is like an example of like a person who's trying to make at least a point, making it in the worst way possible. Mr. GM says the dev who made it messaged me to check it out. I mean, who knows?
he literally figures all out in literally 20 minutes. That took us days to figure out together on this.
Reinforced leather patch. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look into this. So this is a person who's put out a bunch of information about this, and this was on 3/21. I'm trying to see if there are. What I'm trying to find is if there are Wowhead comments that predate him going live that would create plausible deniability that he didn't look at his guides and he actually got the information from something else. How about tuning for it? Let's see if we can find that. Let's see about this. Comments. Okay, hold this first. It looks like there are no comments on this on Wowhead.
So, when he did that tweet, he says, checking out the new professional things and what on earth they're doing for Within Reach. All right. That was the first time where I wrote to him and said, stop. Just stop. It's getting way too obvious. So what did he do? He went in on his stream, showed my website, and insulted it. That's what he did. And some days later, continued, and that's getting limited to power.
I mean, like, you gotta have a clip. Like, if you want to say that, like, that's fine. But if we gotta see the clip. Yeah. No foundation.
And then he's on the PTR, figure things out. He's still continuing the same things. So I sent him a tweet. I wrote, how the fuck are you do that you always find these things Sunday after I published it? You jump man. You fucking jump. What a hero. And people call you the guy that finds stuff in rap. More like the fakest cunt in one.
I love this. This is so good. It's just. I mean, this is so fucking good. Oh my god. Wow, this really is. It's getting serious.
Well, one more. These things Sunday after I published them. Good job, man. Good fucking job. What a hero. And people call you the guy that finds stuff in rap. More like the fakest cunt in one. And then I asked because when I wrote this stop it to him the first time, insulting my website, he was saying that he doesn't even know who I am at all. So I tweeted this. You've been actually defending yourself saying that you never know who I was when I called you out last time about this. But why the fuck you got images on your YouTube video that I've taken? You never.
Let's look at the video and let's confirm this.
that is something you can do once you get the unlock at renown 13. At renown 14, you're going to get some crafter's knowledge, which is really nice. This happens a couple times, as you can see, crafter's which one during the renown tree. And also at renown 14, you get a account-wide unlock of a Murok Eagle. Now, this is actually really cool. It's kind of similar to Katie's stamp whistle. The eagle will fly in. Has a 3-hour cooldown, I believe, and you'll be able to access your mailbox as and when you need to. So it's really cool.
Oh, another one of those.
Extra Katie's stamp whistle, which is nice. Around 15, you get more unlocks for your Drakes.
Okay. Well, okay. The plot thickens. Well, now things are getting interesting. Oh, this is getting very interesting. It's not that he was credited. Listen to what Moody says again.
My website, he was saying that he doesn't even know who I am at all. So I tweet,
That's what he was disappointed. So it's not about credit. Where's the proof of him saying that? Very good point. We don't have proof. Yeah, you're right. It's hearsay.
yeah, this is cool. You've been actually defending yourself saying that you never know who I was when I called you out last time about this.
But I mean, like, am I right to say that if he's telling the truth, this is suspicious? Because, like, again, if you're acting in good faith, you will never lie.
Why the fuck you got images on your YouTube video that I've taken? You never check other Wild Content creators? Fuck off, you. And that tweet was rebanned. And of course,
Yeah,
I banned his Snap. Now, the Blizzard content asked me to take down this tweet because I'm publicly insulting another Wild Content game using such a foul language. Now, it's not only about Wild Content.
I don't think that Blizzard should be telling people what they can and can't say. Like, I really don't. I mean, obviously, it's their partner program, etc. But, like, them micromanaging interactions between content creators, I think this is really weird. Like, this is an interaction between two people. It's not that bad. Why do they care? Yeah, they have no right
Hey,
to tell them.
finish it.
Leave.
Where you going?
Obviously, he's part of the program.
Get your ass back in there.
Program. If he doesn't
Get back
know
over
what to
there.
say, but I still think that they're
Get
overstepping,
back over there. Now.
like, what their responsibility is. Like, if it was like hard harassment, like, then yeah, I agree with it, right? But like, this is not hard harassment. It's not.
It's about that I was in the Wild Content and he's there as well. So about that.
We should put out a guide with an error to see if they fuck it up. Pull a Tyrion Lannister on them. That's a really smart idea. That's a really smart idea.
Was are in there, so I shouldn't insult him. I told the respect to that right now. I told the entire story to the group manager, and the group manager said they would look into this. So this was in anyway. The day after, I sent another message.
The community manager doesn't have any resources to look into it at all. They can't figure any of this out because they don't have the tools to do so.
Group manager. And I said that
Mr. Moody really
Good job,
does
man.
not Mr. GM, stop making content. Yeah, if you really believe that he makes all of his content off of your channel, just stop making content. And then he won't be like, what's he gonna do then? It's so good.
a message that Mr. GM has been insulting me in stream because after the recent tweet, he insulted me back, and he also laughed and said that he was the one that made sure that Blizzard would tell me I'll take that tweet. So I said,
That's, by the way, that's like, if that happened, and this is again all you're saying, words that we never saw this. But if Mr. GM said that, that is super funny. That is massive, like huge, trying to mommy and daddy energy, massively fucking annoying. Like, you're asking Blizzard to bully somebody into taking down a tweet that's bad about, get the fuck out of here. What kind of pussy shit is that? I just like, I mean, I get if the guy is like fucking like doxing you, like harassing your family, like calling you like this is like an ongoing harassment campaign. But, like, these are a few tweets, man. There's nothing like that, especially bragging about.
And this the grid manager, what he's been doing. So instead of the grid manager to say something like, okay, we need to solve this, instead she said that she contact feature.
I started telling him weeks ago to stop and said he showed him on a stream, mocking me, trash talking, telling his viewers that he blocked me and made me remove my posts on today's stream. What would you do if you were me? If I would be you, most likely I will report to Twitter or Twitch. Well, it's also like the problem is that he's not showing any evidence, right? Like, for example, like the Mr. GM thing, they can clearly say, hey, um, you made this tweet that's negative about Mr. GM, delete the tweet, because they can see the tweet. But like him saying, oh, Mr. GM said this, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Like, because it's one thing if like there's no link to a clip, there's nothing about it or anything like that. So like no receipts equals no crime. And so like yeah, so how could Blizzard possibly? So they would have to take his word for it and then get mad at Mr. GM over something they don't even know is true. So it's like I don't blame Blizzard for not wanting to. This is why you should never get involved in this shit. By the way, this is a squabble between two content creators. Blizzard shouldn't have anything to do with this.
So when I insulted him, I had to take it down directly. When he insulted me back, I should contact Twitch now.
Because there's no evidence of him doing it. It has nothing to do with it. I bet if, and maybe not, but I think, like, let's talk about a theoretical. If Mr. GM was shit talking Moody on his stream, and Blizzard didn't tell him to stop, while they tried to tell this guy to take down his tweet, that is a massive fucking double standard. And again, they shouldn't have been involved with it at all. It's the dumbest shit I've seen in a while. I know, that's why it deserves my full attention.
Alright, so it's around this time where I published on WoW Partner Discord that people should respect other people's research and content creation and stop taking grant of them and using them. And if you are, you should at least refer. And instead of trying to climb over each other, we should hold hands and help each other out. I didn't mention climb over each other, hold hands.
The content creator creates content on steals content. I'm holding back a lot of my content because of this, and I'm very tired of it. I haven't posted content for the last few days because I'm waiting for some post about it to finish, so my content doesn't get stolen. It is so wrong and unhealthy to live like this. I will be more than glad to work together instead of this. We all have one common goal, so let's help each other out with hands instead of finding and steps. Let's not be creators steal content. Well, it's not what you find by steal. For example, Nintendo views making videos about their game stealing. Nintendo also views modding their game stealing. Does Bethesda think that's stealing? No. They view emulation as stealing. Other companies don't. Some people view the it's fair to create a like a baseline and say like this is stealing. I don't think that it's necessarily stealing because stealing would have to imply ownership. And how could you own something that's the IP of the company? So how could you like? I don't think that it's fundamentally stealing at all. Now it could be ethically stealing, but on a fundamental level, it's not stealing. Also, like you need proof for this. Like, I bet after this guy makes a guide, other people copy the guide on the laughing comments. Other people tell Mr. GM, and Mr. GM asks me in his chat, oh, where is this? And somebody says, oh, it's right here. Well, they might be reading it off of his website, but Mr. GM isn't under an obligation to know that. How can he know that?
And help each other out. I didn't mention any name or anything like that on that message I did on Discord. So I thought if I do this, maybe just maybe, Mr. G will stop. Now we are in summer this year. It kept going. It was gone. The same freaking paper book over and over. I thought, shit, I'm fucking good. So I wrote to my website. You're more than welcome to use any information for your own content, but please refer to content creators such as the GM. Strong and ethical. I thought, oh my god, the quotes.
I love it. Look at this, bro. For content creators such as Mr. GM. Oh my god.
It's wrong and ethical. I thought if I do something like this, maybe
Here's what I used to do whenever I wanted to figure out a guy. I would go to Valorant comments and I'd figure out what they said, and then I'd maybe look it up on YouTube and see what other people have an idea for, and then I would make that idea better. Like a good example of this is like what I did in, because I can just go back to my own videos, right? So one of my oldest videos, for older videos, so 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 it's good. Ship rising though. So anyway, basically what I did is I pulled all the mobs together and then I AoE all down. And this is something that other people have done before. Obviously, again, this character had full gear, and so I was able to do tons of damage on him. Actually, no, maybe this character sucked at this point. I know I geared him up later on. So I'm doing like massive, big damage, killing all these mobs. And like a lot of other people had done this strategy, but they hadn't really used it as much. So this is my roll off, and I kill all the mobs, and then I'm gonna go ahead and loot everything here. Oh wow, look at all the loot! Oh my god, look at all the loot! Look at all the loot! Look at the loot! And so then what I did, this is one of the first things, is I put a teleporter down at the bottom so I could teleport through the wall and skip the entire rundown. Nobody else had done that at this point, which saved over half of the time. I literally like 0.5x the entire farming just by having that one ability. You know? And it's like Blizzard hates you with this one little trick. And it worked really well. And I feel like that's the way a lot of people do things. Because that's the smart thing to do. Like, I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I never tried to do that. I would try to see what the current wheel is and then make a better wheel than that. You added to it, though. I did. I added to it, I made it better.
he would fit the stuff. So what did he do instead? He went in on the stream, didn't show this, but start talking shit about my content, about my website that is so old school, so laughing about it, and so on. So,
Bro, I'm gonna be real. The website needs work. You look at Maxwell, you look at Wowhead, these websites are way better, and I get that it's your hobby, but you would have more people to go to your website if it was better designed. And I'm not trying to shit on it. Like, I probably couldn't make a better website. Mr. G probably could make a better website. What's he talking shit with? But I'm talking about in the eyes of the consumer. That's just the truth.
when I had this thing on the website, some other creators saw it before I put it. And actually, one of the creators contacted me and said, I should pick it down because it's only going to get worse towards me. And I thought,
He's the person who told him that is right.
okay, I listened, I agreed,
Yeah.
I took it down. And that was right. I took it down. And then another creator contacted me. I'm not going to say the stuff over, of course, but it says, just wondering what have they stolen from your content? As I don't think many people know if these allegations are true. I wrote, hi, sorry, didn't see message earlier. There are many things. And I can't make a full document about it. But I just wonder if it's worth it with the time and effort. What's
I mean, obviously it's fucking worth it because wasn't this in July? I'm assuming JU outlines in July or June. Like, bro, this is like 4 months ago. Like, you should have just written this out. It's worth it for you, man. Like, here's the thing, is that this might seem like it's not important. It seems like that to me, too. However, it is very important to him. So, yeah, you should do it.
can be done. I removed the names on the website the same day because a YouTube friend told me it will only make it worse against me. Which it did, by those two people. Especially with Mr. GM, trash talked my content on last stream since then. Not mentioning any name though, but smart about it. But many viewers in the chat knew. And you know back, to be honest, you're probably right. It makes it worse. The only thing it will do is to bring more attention to it, but what comes after that, I'm not sure. So it might be best to leave it. Nonetheless, that's up to you. What you're saying is conflicts with what Mr. GM has said. He mentioned that he's completely unaware of it.
I think this is very strong secondary evidence here. This is a second person that he's talking to that's completely independent of the situation, that is simultaneously confirming that Mr. GM has said that he didn't know who Rudy was. You see what I'm saying? And this was after he made a video using his pictures. Ooh, this is interesting. So we have this guy right here, Eric Covington. This is the guy who was fired from Blizzard for making a joke about a goblin because Bobby Kotick took it a little bit too personally. I'm not kidding. Look at it. And he said this in response to this issue specifically. Game knowledge on the PTR is available to all, and not everyone posts their findings at the same rate. Being possessive over who found what is pointless and petty. And then he goes on to say, while working on 10.07 content, I'd frequent many PTR streamers' Twitch chats using an alt account. I'd ask leading questions to help them test various things for me on stream so I could make. Well, this guy's playing the Illuminati on these PTR streamers. I love this. This is fucking hilarious. Yeah, see what happens when you hit it. Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, okay. Fuck, it doesn't work. Oh god, okay, we've got to fix that right now. It's been a week. You know? This included both Mr. GM and Rudy, among others. Yeah, exactly. He'll both of them get interaction with the features because one posted about them first. They assume the other stole from them, when in truth, I was assisting both of them equally to find the info. So basically, what this guy's saying is that the Illuminati doesn't pick favorites. Like they were both being helped by a guardian angel, and it was the same guardian angel. Bro was playing God. Yeah, he was playing God. I love it. The puppet master. Yeah, he's like, no, he's not a puppet. You both are.
He also mentioned he's going to sort it out behind the scenes, so perhaps he reached out to him. I hope it gets worked out. Now, in this message, there are three points. Number one, I just thought that I had to prove this. I just wanted to freaking stop. I tried, like, yeah, you have to prove it, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't just go and say, hey, this guy's a scam artist, clown, bad person. And everybody's like, what? Really? Oh my god, I hate him now. Like, that's not how the world works. You've gotta. I mean, it's weird, man. I'm a PhD in science. Like, don't you think people would want to have this? Like, don't you think, like, usually people, like, come on. I mean, and I understand how this happened. Is he so personally invested into it, he can't see the bigger picture. Because he's so personally invested. Different angles for him to understand what he's doing and just fuck his stuff. Now, proof. Number two, Mr. Jim said that it's completely unaware of, which is very funny. That's why he's using images on his YouTube that comes from me. All images is plural when you show on it. He's literally unaware of it. And everything that has been happening since February, apparently, is totally unaware of it. And number three, Mr. GM did not contact him. I mean, I don't believe that he was unaware. I know this guy. This guy's been in my chat before. But this out behind the scenes. Mr. GM has never contacted him. Alright. Also midsummer. The Rockwood program had an event to celebrate the 10.1.1 patch. And the Nicholas. Is he tweeted about it? When he was having it and a print screen from the World of Warcraft original website. And this image also shows the creators. Now, our name was with it above his name. He physically edited the original image and removed my name away from that website. No, I don't believe this. Let me see it. No. I don't believe this.
This is so petty, I have to find out the truth. Dawn of the Infinite Community. Oh my god, I think it's actually true. Here's the tweet. And if you look at the picture right here that's being provided, the picture is in fact the picture that's provided on the video. And it shows that Moody's name is removed because it was Mimic and then Mr. GM. And then if you go over and you look at the actual tweet on the Blizzard website, you would see Mundo right there in between the two of them. So where did he go? Holy fuck. He actually edited it out. Oh my god. Bro, how many of you guys feel like this right now? I mean, shit. God damn. Holy fuck. This is really getting special.
Remove my name from that list. Okay, a little bit end of July-ish. Another creator found out that you can buy Scare Vault keys from the vendor and get a reach. Let's read about it. This is what this Jeb did, which shows in what way find things and tweet about it as it proves the bounty.
Okay.
Zero credit to the download.
Oh, do you know what I did here? Finally, we have a clip. Here we go. Finally, there is a clip.
I heard a vicious rumor, Chad. I heard a vicious rumor about something. You ready? I'm going to tweet about it in a minute as well. Let's go over to this Goodreach. You can buy keys for 50 supplies. Well, I'm tweeting about it right now. You can now buy Scara keys.
Uh-huh.
Is it 50? Dragon supplies. That's so cheap.
Here we have back-to-back tweets I made about Warcraft Rumble, and this was before they were.
Wait, that was it? He didn't claim to find it. Yeah, he didn't claim to find it. He says, no, he didn't. Yeah, he said he heard a rumor. And if he heard a rumor, if I had a Blizzard fucking employee telling me something, I would probably say it in the way of, I heard a rumor. So I don't think this is that strong of evidence. Do we believe the dev employee? Yes, I would believe the developer employee. I would believe it because there's no reason, there's no stake in this.
East Warcraft Rumble from Sweden and many other countries. For some reason, I was very lucky that I could still play Warcraft Rumble through the beta. And what I did was that I tweeted about it, I streamed about it, etc. And I wrote like, "Oh shit, I can do this. This is so weird. I can do this." And that it's still closed and stuff like that. And then on my stream, I asked the Swedish people if they can actually go in, and they couldn't. So it turned out it was like more or less just me. Now that said, let's watch the next one.
So we were talking about it yesterday, guys. Some of the guys didn't know it was a howl like so cool. So I thought we were a kid, but I don't know. I mean, it's out in Sweden. I think they opened up Sweden yesterday. So Swedes yesterday. About that. I think so anyway.
The next one we'll look at is about.
I don't know. I don't think this one's. I don't know, man. Guys, I just don't know. He looks guilty. The thing is, like, he does look guilty. He does. Especially looking like that, bro. That's him looking on his second monitor at Moody's website. It's like, what am I gonna steal next? Who the He's trying to refresh it. Why is the video? I don't know, man. Here through a tweet, but still no credit. That means to give people credit for a tweet, man. God damn. No wonder Movie's website looks like a menu. Oh my god. Why is this fucking ridiculous?
The next one we'll look at is about that he's tweeting that people have serious issues that they actually log out and switch.
This is a huge W when it takes 2 seconds to open your page in incognito mode where you don't have your banned account saved and it's still hate watch. What? If you have to log out or switch to incognito because you're banned to watch a streamer you don't like, you legit have some serious problems. I think Mr. GM's right. I do. I think he's right about this. That's true. Yeah.
Incognito whatever to watch people stream. And I think that is very, very funny because that's literally doing to my streams. A lot of things I do always put on
Wait. So you're saying that Mr. GM is watching your streams on incognito? How do you know that?
as well. So we're gonna take a look at those videos and some clips from them. Says the link there. We know that in general, it activates so that you're planning to do the parts. Okay, in right?
Yeah.
Link, activate, and just write it. Now, of course, it'll be the same when you want it. But now on it, it's something to a sense that someone does something wrong. So that someone can actually write it. So that was two layers, and it's going to start right along. You know, the question is, we're going to the third layer, and then write along. Purple love fire. Hey, it's just.
What about Light Control? I thought we just had to hit them out of it. I guess we're not. Oh, the Nightwing. Oh, yeah, we transported it. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, that was sick, actually. The most curious one to me, right, is they're adding the Sandstone Crate as a dragon riding mount. So does that mean that you could ride on someone's back while they dragon ride? How's that gonna work?
Do you trust my facts? Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right at the life in the lonely. You get there, except so it's all this something out that it's not it was not going aimless.
Yeah, go buy some Trader Tender. Did anyone in the chat buy the Trader Tender, by the way? 200 attendees. All goodie. Any of you guys buy it? Be honest with me. Don't lie to me.
That beginning reputation.
Oh, this is pristine. No fucking way, right? Like, no fucking way. Maybe Eric Covington was a jailer all along. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you think he stole it or not? You know what? Let's go even deeper.
How's that gonna work?
Did you trust my facts?
Okay.
Here, you didn't buy it. Why not? Don't like it. I know you don't like it, except for the thing that all this 80%.
Okay. Okay, let's listen to it again with the transcript of what Moody said.
Why not? Don't like it. I know you.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
The Marines I choose not to follow. Like
Train attendant. Did you guys, did anyone in the chat buy the train attendant, by the way? This was attendees. Video. Any of you guys buy it? Be honest with me. Don't lie to me.
That's beginning reputation. That 50%.
My God. All right. Um, this is so stupid. I know. I know this is fucking ridiculous.
But that makes my block. And I was talking about, okay, but that means that you need to check it out how it looks so normally on 10.15 and that reputation. And I talked about like what that could mean with the launch of 10.15, which comes or doesn't come.
Or wait, or wait.
It's right here.
Quick now. No one's even mentioning it on chat.
That probably affects the rep as well, doesn't it? Time rep.
They gave us reputation on Solidarity. So, when we up, I wrote, okay, they gave it to us. That means it should come for 11th of July. Then after 11th of July.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So after all this time,
Man. Man, I don't know. Points on a graph. There are points on a graph. Holy shit.
everything I tried to do, he continued. So this was the first time I contacted him. First, I wrote to him the following on this. I asked him since a long time ago.
Stop stealing my content.
You ignored it time after time. Then I tweeted called your account. Well, it did not like that. Then asked me to remove it. I did that by mistake. Listen, you trash talked me on the street as if you made them do that and laughed at me.
It's unfortunate that we don't have any clips of Mr. GM shit talking.
Oh yeah, stop stealing on my website. What did you do? You trash talk my website. Instead of stop stealing my content, you trash talk about me. Now, I'm telling you this personally, since you always show just wants attention. Stop stealing my fucking content. Do your own work. You are called a content creator. Then be not a content stealer. So for the last fucking time, stop. Even don't answer me back. Instead, you did this.
Give this fucking prick. It's run me for a loop now. He's such a fucking prick. Yeah, I had to block him. Yeah. I thought I blocked them everywhere, but apparently not on Discord, so I had to do that too.
So he's Voldemorting Moody. That which will not be named. He won't even say his name. To be fair to them, most of these talking points would be spoken about by any WoW content creator, and that's the best part. Is that we don't know. That's the best, because like you don't. I think the best part of this is that we actually don't know. Like there are some things that are very suspicious, but it's just
There's enough gray area to make it. This is more interesting, in my opinion, than the Shadowlands storyline.
I really don't like that.
There's more gray area here than in Sylvanas' storyline. This is amazing.
Oh, there's some dickheads out there, man. There's some real dickheads out there. But hopefully they shut the fuck up eventually and leave me the fuck alone. Because I don't care.
If a person says, stop stealing my content, and the answer is, leave me alone, I don't care.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Means I don't care.
If a person says, stop stealing my content, and the answer is, I don't communicate with losers,
That's something I would say. So I would say that.
what does that mean?
Means
If a person says, stop stealing my content, and the answer is, don't want to respond, just want to go away, what does that mean? Literally the day after, now remember, that was the only time I messaged him. The day after,
right.
he goes out on the screen and starts insulting me again, and starts saying that I had been contacting him several times and several DMs, and I've been like over him in a certain way, and making me look like the bad guy in this whole situation.
Well, wait, Mr. GM's still in the chat? He's gone? That's too bad. He left. Yeah. Well, anyway, easy to prove that this guy's a liar. In my opinion, if somebody lies about what you say in DMs, you should be able to leave the DMs. That's my rule. Like, if you say one thing happened and then something else happened, you should be able to leave it. Yeah, leave the DMs then. We'll see it. Because, like, Mr. GM is saying this guy harassed him in DMs before, and then this guy's saying he didn't do that. Okay, well, it seems like that's pretty obvious that we can figure out what happened.
Of course, he's trying to like build up some kind of lie and manipulation because he doesn't even say what it's about. Just says that I have been messaging him several times, DMing him several times, and it's something.
I've had enough of dickheads for this week, man. It's fucking annoying. Like, I'm just trying to get on and do my own shit. And I'm like, just getting like fucking DMs and shit from fucking complete dickheads. I'm just trying to do my own shit. Just leave me alone. Like, seriously. And it's like a dickhead that I've blocked everywhere as well. Continues to view my shit. What a fucking freak.
And then we have an article that Committee writes about in his website that you can actually almost scroll it. And the same morning from nowhere, Mr. GM does a video directly on it and also streams about it. No credit at all to the founder. And the funny,
I mean, I feel like, isn't it pretty easy to unlock the new Scarlet Monastery or the new old Scarlet Monastery? Do you really need to have credit for something like that? I don't really think that you do. It's like, it is hard. It's not easy, okay. Isn't it just on WoWnet? Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, there are multiple other sources. Like, I bet, here's one thing I think that I'm sure of. Mr. GM has used other people's content to make his own content. Because I think everybody does that. And I've done that. I bet Mooney's probably done that once or twice. And everybody does it. But like, is he doing it in bad faith? Is the question.
thing is, he always put these peaks in all the time, saying like it's not about who's first, it's about like who has the best type of content.
That's true.
It's quite funny when it comes to this.
I've never made a video so fast in my life, by the way. It's such a short video, but I feel like it would be pretty important.
Okay, that's what we got. I sent a DM to
Okay.
community manager, and I won't follow. This information is about the dynamo.
That's a big community manager, man. Like, no wonder they quit. Bro, like, remember Josh? Like, Josh Allen? Bro, he's gone. So, more? So, fuck that. So, I don't know how to deal with this shit. Yeah. The information about beforehand, really on the side class.
They even know beforehand how something will turn out because it's always the same story. And now you will witness it live when it comes. These tweets are typical tweets that he has watched my guide, and also meaning that he's doing the same guide. He always start with something that might not be great in my guide. Now, this tweet doesn't mean anything yet. He writes, I hope we get some clarity on how many campaign and side quests will be available in week 1 Lawrence of the Dream. I don't think when we count the out PTR, will all be there on the first week. And then next week, the Super Blue World Event 10.2 will now get interpretation of completion. And you'll get 1,003 borders wrecked for complete.
What's so crazy about this is, like, he comes off as such a massive schizo, right? I mean, he comes off as, like, just the biggest, like, insane fucking schizo, like, crazy person, main character syndrome. But then he shows the video, and it's like the same fucking thing. So it's like, is it one of the situations where, like, he's not crazy, everybody else is crazy? Like, that's the best part about it. Is it's like he shows it, and it's so close. It's just like identical almost. And then it's like you see the video, you see the picture, and it's like it happens. It's like, bro, Mr. GM is driving this dude fucking crazy. It's his delivery. Yes, it's just the way he's doing it. Bro, it is the encapsulation of this. But holy fuck. It's just, oh my god. He's gaslighting Tori, yes, and it's, what the fuck is this? Oh my god. It's like a horror movie and nobody believes him. Yes, Mr. GM is the fucking, the masked murderer.
The weekly Super Blue West and a continue on our own. Any day now, a guide will come out from him that has been reputation pre-moments.
Yeah.
Same as I've done, where I have gone in depth on how you can gain reputation in detailed numbers. As usual, he was stating directly on his video something bad about my guide without mentioning any name, and that his guide is better because it doesn't have that bad thing that he thinks.
Well, it's funny, says Mr. GM lives in this guy's walls. Yeah, but like, what if he actually does though? Like, and like that's the world that we're in, right? It's like, what if he is actually in the walls? And like, there's very strong evidence that suggests there might be something in the walls. Oh my god.
Otherwise, it took 3 to 4 hours per day for approximately 18 days to figure out my reputation guide that I always did on stream. He plays ATT online, retail, all day on his streams, and John PTR some hours a week. As mentioned, this information is a heads up what's coming. And then I showed the video of the guide that I made on how you can get a reputation in all different ways and how fast you can actually get them on the first week. Later on, well, there it is. All the research I've been doing, 3, 4 hours a day for 18 days, in order to make it the video guide, he made some.
Oh shit. Oh shit. This is all about the reputation of the Dream Wardens. And wait a second. Just a minute, just a minute. I'm trying to see, like, what's the date on this? It's the 20th of October. Okay.
It's coming. And then I showed the video of the guide that I made on how you can get a reputation in all different ways.
And this is Fast Guide right here. Dream Wardens Renown 21st week full guide.
You can actually get them on the first week, linked on. Well,
okay. Which video came out first? October 15th. Mr. GM, October 20th. best explanation for this is that this is kind of the way it's like. Is that there's a lot of dots, and Mooney is like this. But they don't really connect. But there are a lot of dots. He's still got more. So he thinks that Mr. GM stole this video. Now, let me ask you guys a question. A pretty simple question. Do you think Mr. GM watched Mooney's video before he made his own video?
There it is. All the research I've been doing, 3-4 hours a day for 18 days, in order to make it the video guides, he made in some hours. An exact copy. Now, if you look at these 2 video guides, they're very, 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 very similar. Something. Later, with GM post reputation, farming locations, and waypoints. Now, if you look at my guide that I did 14th of October, somewhere in a week before, it was exactly that way. Reputation farming locations and the waypoints. Each single one of them. Loads of recent research to find out.
No, these are the same waypoints that he had already posted. He changed it? No way, though, right? Wait, you're saying that he changed the waypoints? No way, right? From his own? No way. Like, there's no way this happened. There's no way. No, it did not happen. No, he didn't. He did not change them. Look, it's right next to each other. They're right next to each other. You can see them right there. They're not being changed.
And the waypoints. Each single one of them. Loads of recent research to find all this out. While this person plays TTS on the stream all day, every day, and says that he does not work weekends and only plays retail in his free time. So then you might wonder, but what have the community manager told me back? Well, nothing. He said,
oh, that's what I would say if I was community manager. I'd be like,
for the day when I told the community manager, I'm making a video about this whole thing and what they're going to add. That's when the community manager reached back. Now, the reach back was that they wanted to make a document about this whole thing so this person can bring the case to the headquarters. And I said, stop.
okay. You want to talk about this? Give me the receipts.
Okay, I'll make that document. Separate the same night. The morning after, I got a message from the community manager again saying that
somebody says in chat, this is a very good question. Does Mr. GM normally include waypoints? What an incredibly good question. Let's take a look and see. No. No. Yes. Yes. Nope. Not strong enough. Yeah, it's 50-50.
It has been brought up now with the headquarters. And my reaction was, okay, I haven't sent it to the audience. The community manager also states that, unfortunately, they can't do anything about my claims. Also, they were more or less warning that I should avoid insulting other creators and respect the code of conduct. But if you fail to do so, get removed from the WoW partnership status. So here's my answer back.
I think that it's very fair for Blizzard to say we don't want you guys harassing and insulting each other, but if Blizzard says that this guy can't talk about this problem in a professional way, then I think that's massively overreaching. in my opinion, it's kind of overreaching, even like baseline insults. Like, not everybody has to get along all the time, you know? Like, who cares? But, like, he should still be able to talk about it, even if, if he's being professional about it.
Regarding the context of the message, as there are several points that I find to be
They need to give those people over at Blizzard a raise. Whoever's working a community manager over at Blizzard, like, they need to get paid more for this. Absolutely is.
inaccurate and questionable. Firstly, I provide them information not only regarding the depth of my content, but also regarding the repeated instances of insults directly towards me.
No, bro, you don't, because you're just saying that he said that. Like, whenever Mr. GM says Moody's harassing me, here's the tweet where he's harassing me, and you were harassing him. You call him a cunt. Like, this is, I would say, I mean, we're not in Australia here. This is an offensive word. I mean, there's no, like, and also, like, you said it first. Like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I believe in self defense, and I also believe in non aggression. So I don't think you should ever escalate things to being aggressive. But if somebody else does it, then you don't hold back. Do whatever you want to do.
While you took immediate action upon my tweet, it appears that no action has been taken when this individual continues to engage in such behavior towards me. In your response, you advise me to be mindful and avoiding insults and pressure towards other creators, emphasizing the importance of adhering the code of conduct. I want to clarify that the tweet in question was an isolated incident, and I provide information specifically indicating that this individual is the one responsible for such behavior. However, it seems that information has been misconstrued, resulting in misrepresentations of the facts. Furthermore, you mentioned the failure to comply with the code of conduct may lead to removal from our officer status, which precisely what this individual has been doing. Is disheartening to see.
But it's like, that's not really the code of conduct. It's just like, they just don't want people insulting each other. Like, what did he do to get himself kicked out of the code of conduct? Like, where's the evidence of this?
See, that the information I provided has been distorted, falsely implying that I'm the one engaging in such behavior. Despite
It's your own tweets, man. I mean, you literally tweeted this shit out.
providing evidence of the individual's repeated.
No, you guys, ChatGPT didn't write this. Do you really think this dude that made a 30-minute video and has been going on about this for the last 6 months of his life, do you really think that he couldn't cobble together 4 paragraphs? Well, no, bro, he probably wrote this in 5 minutes. No, he probably had this ready on a notepad. He just copy pasted it over.
The manner in which this situation has been handled reflects poorly on your professionalism, as it is clear that there has been a one-sided approach, favoring a larger creator who happens to have a personal connection with you. Your actions in this manner have been inappropriate and unacceptable.
I disagree with that. I think that Blizzard would have taken action, and I think Blizzard even said that they would take action if you provided information about it. I don't think it's fair for Moody to say, to expect Blizzard to take action without seeing evidence. Like, for example, Blizzard did take action against him whenever they saw evidence. But Moody isn't providing any real evidence. He's providing an implication. And also, inside of the code of conduct, there's nothing about stealing content at all. It's got nothing to do with it. So, to talk about failing to adhere to the code of conduct, this is totally separate.
Regarding the evidence, he instructed me to format it in a readable manner.
They didn't give him the chance to send the evidence. I mean, there's a chance to send it. Why couldn't we just send the evidence? Why is he not showing it?
Before it could be sent to the board. I've dedicated considerable time and effort throughout the day to prepare the evidence as requested. However, I'm perplexed by a statement that you have already sent it to. This statement contradicts the timeline and raises questions about the nature of the information that was sent. Overall, your message indicates a clear bias from the beginning, neglecting to acknowledge the behavior of the individual in question.
I don't know. I don't like this because I feel like Lee has been like, and this is what happens, right? Whenever a situation like this happens to you, you feel like everybody's on the same page as you are, and the people that aren't are actively denying it. But I guarantee you that probably the community manager dealing with this, I guarantee they're reading it like this. Wait, how much? Jeez. Like, they don't, if they even read it at all, right? Like, they don't know really what happened. So I don't think it's fair for you to expect them to agree with your accusation. It's not fair for you to just like, oh, well, this is a bias because you're not agreeing with me. Did they submit several videos claiming something and they couldn't have seen that as evidence? Well, yeah. Well, no, it's because the videos, every single video that he's shown is awfully suspicious, but it's not evidence. Like, it's awfully suspicious, but it is also not evidence. And also, even if he is stealing the content, what does this have to do with Blizzard? This is between two content creators. Blizzard can't tell this guy what's going on with his channel. It's outside of their purview.
Who lived in the dark regarding information you have presented to the board and the manner in which has been conveyed. This lack of impartiality raises concerns of corruption and discrimination. Consequently, I made the decision to withdraw my participation of the WoW Partner Board, as I cannot support an organization that conducts itself in such manner. I will take sure to inform others about the actions of Mr. GM and the way this matter has been handled, including the treatment I have received. So I left the WoW Partner Board because I don't feel welcome there. A community manager that is a good friend of his and that has neglected more or less everything I've been saying and not even giving me the chance.
Oh, friend, where is the evidence? This is just kind of thrown out there. He's friends with the community manager, and like, where's the evidence in this?
To give the documents. Why should I be in that kind of program? I wrote one tweet with an insult that thing and not even giving me the chance to give the documents. Why should I be in that?
Wait, I thought they gave him the chance. I thought they said for him to send the document. Am I misunderstanding something? I thought Blizzard said for him to send the document. They didn't. Okay.
I wrote one tweet with an insult that took them.
They changed their mind.
Where they reacted towards me. Whereas he has over and over.
What's this here? He made it. Before he finished, they cut him off. The next day, they told him no. Maybe I misunderstood that part of the conversation.
Publicly insulting me, insulting my content, insulting my websites, and everything that has to do with me, and not a single action has been made. Instead, a message where I should only just shut up. Or you kick that. Well, it's easy. Why? So now you know. Now you know.
Now you know. Holy shit. Holy dude, I cannot fucking believe I sat through that entire thing. Let's see what the court has to say. Who's in the right? Mr. GM? Moody. Oh my god. Oh my god, Mr. GM is losing 6-1, almost 7-1. Oh my god, nobody believes Mr. GM. You know what's so fucking funny about this whole thing? Is that everybody is against Mooney on Twitter. Everybody's against him. Everybody thinks he's crazy and an asshole and totally wrong. Everybody disagrees with him. And then on my stream, everybody is totally on his side. That's what's so fucking funny. Yes, we actually watched the 30-minute video. We analyzed the evidence. We cross-referenced it with Mr. GM's videos. We went through and read every single thing that he said, word for word, and then we compared it against what Mr. GM said. We did as much of an investigation as we possibly could. Now, what do I think? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that there's enough evidence. The truth is that there is not evidence. There is very close to evidence. And I don't think that he's completely wrong. And there's another possibility. If Moody is right, Mr. GM doesn't have time to make these guides in his own words. Could not be that he has someone else make the guides for him that are genuine and ripped off. GM could have been nicer instead of blocking and insulting him on stream. Well, we never heard the insults on stream, and I don't think that Mr. GM has any obligation to listen to insults himself. Fence sitter? Well, yes, I am fence sitting because I don't think that we know which side to get off on him. I think that he has a few really, really strong bits of evidence. And the main thing that I think is really, really weird, personally, is all right, so there's a number of things. Number one, it's that he said that he didn't know who Moody was. And this was also confirmed by a second content creator that Moody was in DMs with. So there are two people saying the same thing that don't have a connection to each other. The odds are I believe it happened. So why is he saying something he doesn't know who a person is whenever he used their stuff in his videos, right? That's number one. That is a very strong evidence of foul play. And the second thing, this is what's really special here, is the fact that Mr. GM photoshopped Moody's name off of this. That, to me, says mimic Mundo Mr. GM. You look at the video, it says mimic Mr. GM. That is low. Those are, I think, the 2 points of evidence that are indisputable. There is the evidence. Now, is that enough evidence to say that Mr. GM is copying all of his videos? No. But it's enough evidence for me to assume that Mr. GM is not acting in 100% good faith. Either way, guys, I think we talked about this enough. We've gone through it. According to the court of public opinion, the most fair and unbiased thing on the internet, Moody, who made a 31-minute video exposing Mr. GM for stealing his content, is actually right. And Mr. GM is a lying rat. That is according to the public opinion. Personally, I don't entirely agree with that. I think it's very gray, but there are certainly a lot of coincidences. I love this. This is my favorite part about streaming. You guys might not notice, but I actually wanted to go to law school to be a lawyer before I dropped out to play video games. I love this. I do. I think it's so interesting. It's so fun for me. I could do this all day. This has improved my mood substantially. It's going to be a while for me to get that out of my head. I really want to know what's going to happen after this. The truth about my divorce. Now, from the background, I've been hearing about this for a while. I didn't know it was over until 2 days ago. So, oh boy. The divorce arc? Yep, that's right. It's time. let's talk about the divorce. So I've been away for quite a while. Let me tell you why. At this point, the case is over. I've been trying to get this divorce settled. It was a lot longer process than I thought. Yeah, I haven't talked about it in any official way up until this point. There's two different courts. There's the court of public opinion, that is Reddit, Twitter, all those great and wonderful places. And then there's the court of law, where I believe that was the best place to spend most of my time and focus most of my efforts. After it was settled, then we could talk about it. We could dispel any rumors or any sort of questions people had. And that's who this video is for. It's for people who genuinely are curious about what happened. I have documents here in front of me. I'm going to read them as they are. I'm going to try my best to not have any of my opinions in here. Some of these things are a bit confusing for people who don't know who I speak. So I'm going to do my best to explain these documents, and the point should be good now, right? So hopefully everyone can understand them. Keep things as plain as I can. This isn't to inflame the situation or cause any stress to anybody whatsoever. I just want to speak the truth. Fine. So I want to do my best to provide an accurate timeline. The divorce was filed by Melania in January of 2025. We had split up the previous year. It was amicable. We did about it on Twitter. Everyone saw that. And the divorce ended up being officially filed by her in, like I said, in January. I sent Melania a 50-50 offer down the middle in April of that year. She did not accept it. I did not know what she wanted out of this divorce until mediation.
Yeah, this is what made it take so long. It's like Melania didn't want to take the 50-50, which is what was crazy. I don't know why that didn't happen.
Which was
I have
actually
no idea.
And essentially what she wanted was the same that she wanted in trial, and that's what it was for me. Here, I warned Melania that
Probably one of the most common questions I get when I do account reviews and I'm helping players out in the Discord and all that stuff is whether or not I should forge KVK helmets and weapons as opposed to the set helmets and weapons. And it's a super common question. And I really figured out that we need a tier list. We need some kind of priority list to make sure everybody knows what's the best to do, what's the best to prioritize. Because now we got the same amount of materials to forge that happened a couple of years ago, but we need a guide. We need somebody to tell us, like, Chansky, should we forge the helm of the conqueror, or should we stick with our set helmet? We'll go through that for each troop type, for each set of gear. We'll go through all of this right now. Hey, everybody on the board, War Daddy Chansky. I do videos for Rise of Kingdoms constantly, like every day. And if you enjoy these videos, help it out a little bit. Give it a like. Helps out the videos, helps out the channel. If you're not subscribed, join the legion of people in the community that we've been growing. That costs you a thing. And we've been having a great time doing this as we do content every day. And this is one of those things that we got into when it came to equipment. Guys, like, listen, we're all striving for equipment, okay? Every one of us, whether it's trying to set out our next march we want to do, whether it's trying to upgrade the current marches we want, we have to talk about equipment, and it is something that is always part of it. We want to maximize the materials that we use. And when we do that, we got to figure out what works best. So if you're in KVK, you've got a KVK shop that's going to allow you to buy different equipment, okay? And when you get these conquest coins that you have, you can go for different types of equipment. Like you got the Hydra's Blast. That is the weapon for the archers, okay? That's not a set piece weapon. That's the weapon for the archers. Well, you also have at the legendary level, you also have the Dragon's Breath bow. Now that is part of the set piece for archers, okay? It's the same thing with the other types of troops. Like you've got the Shield of the Eternal Empire for the set piece for the infantry, and then you've got the Hammer of the Sun and Moon. Now, what you'll notice is that the stats on the KVK pieces are higher. Okay, the stats are actually higher for those KVK pieces. Hydra's Blast, 25% defense. Dragon's Breath, 20% defense. Well, they're the same amount to forge. Okay, it costs the exact same amount, 90 materials to forge the weapon of any particular troop type. 90 materials for the Hellish Spear for the cavalry, 90 materials for the Shield of the Eternal Empire, 90 materials for the Dragon's Breath bow. But the KVK pieces with more stats are the same amount to forge materials wise. 90 pieces, 90 pieces, and 90 pieces. Okay, so from there, it would just be common sense to say, well, I'll just go with the KDK pieces if I'm on board. And for most players, honestly, that's the case. And in most circumstances, honestly, that's the case. It's the same thing over here with the helmets. 16 materials to forge the Hellish helmet. 16 materials to forge the gold helm of the Eternal Fire. It gives you 11% defense. 16 materials to forge the Dragon's Breath helmet. Gives you 11% attack. But then you compare it to the Ancestral Mask of Night, and that's 15% attack. And it's 60 pieces. And then you got the Helm of the Conqueror. 60 pieces. 15% infantry movements. And then you've got the Prime de Calm. Okay, one of my favorite pieces is 15% defense, and it costs 60 pieces of material. And so from there, how do we differentiate that? How do we go through that? Well, I'm going to pull this thing up. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you should prioritize when it comes to this. Now, we've got my trusty little tier set up here, but let's go through that. First of all, we're going to talk about the cavalry weapon, okay? On the cavalry weapon side, this is a pretty simple one, okay? Because we have set bonuses for each troop type. And we have these set bonuses, and this is the reason why a lot of players see some discrepancies, see some differences. When we have some set bonuses, we have to look at those set bonuses and what they do. Obviously, you've got the set bonuses when it comes to the Shield of the Eternal Empire. The infantry set bonuses are really, really important, okay? On the cavalry, not so important. Sometimes when we hit the tier 2 and tier 3 levels, or the 2-piece and 4-piece levels, okay? And then when it comes to archers, it's the same thing. We got to try to figure that out as far as what works best and how it works. And so with that, I'm going to pull this back up. We're going to talk about the cavalry weapon, okay? Because now we're going to apply this. What I recommend people do with the cavalry weapon is to prioritize the Sacred Dominion over the Hellish Scoop. That's what I tell people to do. All right, let me come help explain. When it comes to cavalries, and cavalry is something I know quite a lot about, when it comes to cavalry, okay, you have a situation in your gear with cavalry to where the 2-piece set is really all you should strive for in the end game. Even if you're just running field, all right, because the 4-piece set giving 3% counterattack damage isn't much, all right, so you can forfeit the 4-piece set, and you can go with the health of Lamar's Control, and you can go with the health of the Ash of the Dawn. Okay, you can do that. Now, yeah, I've got crazy busted gear that's all tier 5 stuff. But just don't look at that, because this is for everyday players, all right? So what you want to do with your cavalry is that you want to prioritize the Sacred Dominion. So what does that mean? That means that when you prioritize it like this, and you want to put that as a higher value, it means that when you're upgrading your marches, you might have a Hellish Spear. Like I've got one right here. But once you start upgrading your marches to a second cap march, you cannot do a second Hellish Spear. By then, you'll be in KDK as you roll on your account. Or you will be able to get these different KDK weapons in the KDK shop with your conquest coins. And that's one of the things you want to do. I always prioritize the Sacred Dominion, because for any run-of-the-mill everyday player, all right, you're going to be able to get much better stats with the same amount of materials with Sacred Dominion. And with cavalry, you can forfeit the 4-piece set. You don't have to worry about that. You can just run the 2-piece set. Okay, so I always prioritize Sacred Dominion over the Hellish. Always. And the only difference is when you go into some of these things and you start doing some awakenings. Okay, when you do some awakenings, I don't have much to awaken here, but it costs more material to awaken the KDK weapon and helmet. Now, with that being said, the benefits are better, so the return on investment is about the same. It just costs more to awaken, right? Well, we're talking about the weapon and the helmet. So for everyday players, it's going to be really hard to get that stuff tiered up to tier 5. You let the rallies and garrisons tier 5 there, okay? And let the rallies and garrisons go tier 5 on their sacred weapon. Let the rallies and garrisons go tier 5 on their helmets, okay? That's what you want to do. And if you're a regular player, you want to be able to forge what's best for you, what you can get And that will be the best thing for me as far as the Sacred Dominion versus the Hellish Spear. A lot of the times I tell players, especially new players coming into the game, to be in a situation to where you just stick with the heart of the saint. Just stick with the heart of the saint until you do your first SOC KDK or KDK 4, and then go get the Sacred Dominion. Okay? And so from that, you can skip the Hellish altogether. But if you want to forge some equipment early in the game and you have this, or if you have this already on your account and you're wanting to add another cavalry march, I would suggest going to the Sacred Dominion. Now, none of us like to dismantle gear, so that's not what I'm recommending. Like, if you want two cavalry marches that don't have the Lance and the Hellish Racer, just go with it. You're good with it. Don't worry about it. But as you develop more marches and as you develop your account, you definitely want to go prioritize the Sacred Dominion. Okay? So let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about the helmet when it comes to the cavalry. Same thing. I recommend Pride of the Con over the Hellish helmet every day, all day. This is one of those things that we get into as well with the helmets. It's the same thing. You're full fitting the full piece set, so you use the same materials to get 15% cavalry defense versus the 11% from the helmet. Now, if you get this printed, I think this runs up to 16%, if I'm not mistaken. But you want to prioritize the Pride of the Con. It's the same concept. Okay? If you're adding another forge, you prioritize the Pride of the Con because you can forge this, and it's like getting a crit on your Hellish helmet. And you're not really forfeiting much of the benefit of the 4-piece set because 3% counterattack damage is just not much, especially in the field for everyday players. Okay, these are just regular players. And you want to prioritize the Pride of the Con, and you really want to prioritize, obviously, for cavalry, the Sacred Dominion. That's what you want to do. So, Pride of the Con, great for players that are creating a second archer or a second cavalry march, or great for players that are looking to add their first piece of equipment when it comes to the helmet for their first cavalry march if they're getting late in the game. That's what you got to prioritize, okay? Now, let's come to infantry. Infantry's a little different, okay? Infantry has an amazing set bonus. Now, here's the thing with infantry, all right? We'll come over here to the shield of the Eternal Empire. When it comes to the set bonuses for infantry, unless you are a rally or garrison, the 4-piece set on infantry is paramount. It is so important. You want the 4-piece set, guys. You want it. I would rather take, I'm not kidding, I would rather take less stats from the Shield of the Eternal Empire, 20%, compared to the hammer that gives you 25%. I would rather give up 5% attack to have a 4-piece set that lets us run 10% marchment. That is super important. Super important. So with that, that is why for infantry, I prioritize the shield above the hammer. Okay, now let me pull this down. As you see, the shield gives 20% attack, the hammer gives 25% attack. But when you look overall at the 4-piece set, that is paramount. Like I said, paramount. You gotta have it for infantry. And so unless you're rally or garrison, well, how do you hear this? This is the kind of setup you're going to do a helmet, you're going to do a shield, you're going to do the boots, and you're going to do the gloves. And you're going to have that 4-piece set. That is the best way to meta, min-max your set for infantry. It's getting that 4-piece set for the 10% motion. It is so crucial for infantry. So crucial. So, when it comes to applying that to whether or not get to the KDK weapon for infantry, you're always going to want to stick to the shield. You're always going to want to stick to the shield. So it's going to be the exact same thing for the helmet for the infantry. Okay? You're going to prioritize the set helmet more than the KDK, unless you're going to rally or garrison. And I know, guys, don't get caught up in those stats that you get. Okay? Defense for infantry is really pretty good, but the infantry have so much defense when it comes to some of their other stuff that you would rather prioritize the Eternal Helmet for the 4-piece set than you would the Helmet of Conqueror. In Rally Garrison, it's totally different. but prioritizing the eternal set. And this also helps you prioritize, like if you're going to go get a helmet and pick a bit every few weeks, you can prioritize getting the set helmet and the set weapon for infantry more than you can the other troop types. And we'll go through that here in a few, okay? So, with that, this is what we got for infantry. Cavalry, we're going to prioritize the KDK weapon and helmet. Infantry, we're going to prioritize the set weapon and helmet. And then now for archers. Archers are a little bit different, okay? I tell people on the archers, it's the same type of deal. So I tell players that you're going to prioritize for archers the KDK stuff when it comes to the help, okay? And let me help explain. When it comes to the archers, it's the same kind of philosophy as the cavalry. All right, the set helmet's okay for archers, but it's gonna give you attack. We already have attack for archers. You're gonna tell it. The set bonuses for archers are a little bit different. Okay, you really like that 3% skill damage for archers. So I like to say for regular run-of-the-mill players, everyday players that are trying to get the best marches in the field possible, get the most KP possible, to be as much of an influence in the field for your kingdom as possible. The 4-piece skill damage is really good, but you build it differently than caps. And let me help explain. Okay? Or you build it differently than infantry, because infantry does 4-piece too. And with that, you want to grab the stats from the Ancestral Mask of the Night. Okay? And you can do the same kind of concept when it comes to the you can do the same kind of concept when it comes to the infantry. Now over here I've got a full 6-piece set, right? And if I would have known better at the beginning of the game, I would have done the KDK helmet and the KDK weapon instead. Now, I'm working on my KDK weapon. All right. And I got 2 tier 5 set helmets. So I feel like I'm going to change one of those for the KDK. So, like I said, if you're in this situation where you've already got critted stuff, you've already got critted set pieces, then don't worry. But if you're building another archer match, or you're coming into SO6 for a little player, you're coming into the end game, that's how you want to build it. You want to prioritize the KDK helmet and the KDK weapon for archers. Hydra's Blast, hold on, we'll put the helmet down here. You want the Hydra's Blast and you want the Dragon's Breath. That's the secondary to the Hydra. So if you want to build a 4-piece set, right, you want to build a 4-piece set, choose with the chest, the greaves, the gloves, and the boots. Now, if you go with the 2-2-2 set, to where you go KDK, chest piece of the set, it's like the set, and then go to the leadership. I mean, it's more the bit max and the hit the ring by $1,000 and never since virtues. And so that's the recommendation I have for virtues is that you go KDK weapon, KDK helmet. All right, so let's review. For cavalry, 100% KDK weapon over the hellish weapon. Private the con KDK helmet over the hellish helmet. That's for cavalry. All right, 2-piece set is fine for cavalry. Infantry, 4-piece set is paramount. It is super important. So you prioritize the set shield or the set weapon over the KDK hammer of the set of weapon. And the same thing with the helmets. You prioritize the set helmet over the KDK helmet. If you're Rally Gears, that's good. I can't say that enough. And with the archers, you can do the same concept as the cannon. But the 4-piece set for the archers is just built different than it is for infantry. You build it with the chest, the greaves, the gloves, and the boots. And then you use the KDK weapon or KDK helmet. And you still got your 4-piece set for archers. So that's how you want to set that thing into it. And that's how you want to prioritize. One of those common questions I get asked. Now let's talk about the accessories, okay? Accessories are pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Accessories you prioritize floors, wings, and then if you need to, you can prioritize the drums, or in all reality, the drums only the greatest glory. Let me help explain that, okay? You get the drums and the greatest glory from other media special, from the Agabit, you get these things from other events in the game, so it's easier. So in the KDK shop with your season coins, you always want to make sure you're grabbing those small ones, always. Because that's the only place you can get fluids and rings. You can't get it from the Switch, especially. You can't get them from EA. You can't get them from these other events in the game. And so you want to get the currency prioritize forwards and rings. Now, if you subscribe to the drum setup, it means you're not going to have as many rings as you are horns, and you're going to have more drums. Compare drums with horns instead of horns with rings. Okay, so from there, I always prioritize it. Horns are the most important thing to get in the KDK shop with your scissor credits. That's the most important accessory to get. All right, you want to outfit every single bunch except for Chin with forms, no matter what. It doesn't matter. I don't care about overraging your Luce. I don't care about overraging your Sunsicle. I don't care about overraging your Electricity. Get one horns over rings when it comes to priority. And then you can do like drops the greatest story. If you need to get like a last 75% crit for the refining, or you need to get like another tier if you want to get the tier rewards at tier 5, you can do that in the KDK shop. But always make sure you're prioritizing the Okay, so this kind of gives you an idea of how we want to prioritize this thing. Because again, this is one of those questions I get all the freaking time. For regular everyday players, 95% of the players out there, this is how you're going to want to prioritize. KDK weapon for cavalry, KDK helmet for cavalry. Infantry set weapon and set helmet for infantry. That's how you gotta get the Philippines set. The archers, KDK weapon, KDK helmet. All right, not as much of a priority as cavalry, but still a big priority. That's how you want to set it. So, if you guys would be so kind, get down in my comments. I love I love getting down there and interacting with you guys. If you want to join my Discord, you can hit that link in the description. Join my Discord. We can have these conversations there. I'm going to put this video out as I get these questions all the time. Guys, this is why I love doing reviews. I do it for my 300 members. It's because I know what players want. I know what they're asking for. I know what the most common questions are. And I'm doing reviews twice a week, multiple times. And I'm helping out those players who are in my 300 club. But I'm also in my Discord answering questions for them. I get to ask that all the time. Chansky, I've got a print for Sacred Dominion, and I've got a print for the Hellish Weapon, like one of my forwards, like Sacred Dominion, 100%. 100%. And they're like, okay, thanks. Didn't know. And so that's why I wanted to do that. So, you guys enjoyed this video. If you got any more so, appreciate you guys. Makes it always love it. And with that, have a great day, broskies.
Welcome to the potential future of professional StarCraft 2, with the very first tournament finals and the new proposed battle expansion. In our first finals, the former world champion Darren the Red, it's Micro Garrison, you, facing off against Cyril's greatest stunt double, the Red One Zerg in Korea in the blue. We have Solar in a best of 5 Darren versus Zerg finals to the newest biggest Sword Cup tournament, where people would get stolen. It'd be incredible. You could smash that like button, or maybe even subscribe. We got the algorithm. 1,855 likes on this video on this cast, and I'll cast it on. I'll probably do that because I don't really say I'd like to thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As these two conversationalists have plenty of time to lay it all on the line, importantly in the chat. As with an 8-worker start, among a whole slew of other changes. Jimmy, put it on the screen, please. I don't know. Among a whole slew of other changes, gives you maybe a little bit more time to build up. And I went through the effort of having Jimmy translate because I noticed there was a lot of commentary throughout this game, and I believe throughout the series. But they're first commenting on the first Reaper coming out very quickly. Theon is convinced that the Reaper comes out at a normal time and he has to make big sacrifices. Solar says, I'd hardly be losing wings to Glenn, which I believe is both trash talk and lamenting the Reaper in general. So, some other relevant changes that are already more than likely going to affect the game. The Overlord is slow. It is about a little bit over 20% slow. We're not sure if that's entirely intentional or if it was kind of a misconverted number.
But the result is that the Overlord is so slow, it is incredibly unlikely to get there by the time you've already decided on your build. So, of course, that lends itself to more diverse opportunities for those who would try to avoid. Meanwhile, Berserk, the Infestor now has an auto attack if you get close enough to use it, which is identical to the High Templar water balloon. The minerals and gas on each base are slightly increased overall. Not by too much, but by another minute or two of sitting around and mining, which it's unclear who that could potentially favor. I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions. And arguably most importantly, the Ghost. The Ghost has been changed dramatically. It has 25 less HP. It's back down to 100. It now costs 3 supply, which is 50% more. Though it does do a lot more damage. It has a baseline attack that does 20 damage instead of 10 plus 10 versus light. It has 7 range, up from 6. And its snipe ability cannot be interrupted, and now does 170 damage as opposed to 130, with a bonus against things like queens. So now Terrans may call that a nerf to the Ghost. Call it what you like. It is certainly a different sort of thing. And so different and so nerfed that Beyond is building a Ghost Academy at the 3.5-minute mark. Yeah, I had an idea where this was going. The simple fact that it has more range and more flat damage makes it better against effectively every single other that isn't. It's not as good, or it's relatively worse against things that it already was kind of good against. Where, like Lynx and Banelings are not light units. Fun fact, they just don't have much HP. I think a lot of people get that confused, but they just. So the Ghosts themselves can do more damage against Banelings, but they are light units themselves, which means the Banelings do bonus damage to them. Unfortunately, only one of them has a gun. So I think the solution to this is give Banelings guns. Can I get a hell yeah, brother, in the gun? Anyways. But to start things off, it's a Ghost Rush. 2 Marines are pushing away Overlord, which is a 2-4 array. And the Queens will protect it for now. The Queens, relatively the same. The Ghost has not been spotted. It's working its way up. And one Queen already targeted another one this time. And it leaves the Queen with 1 HP. It does 170 damage. Queens have 175 HP. So a nice tap on the shoulder. Even an SCV might be able to do it. Overlord finally makes it into the main base, but more Ghosts are on the way across. The first snipe knocking out a huge percentage of the monarchy. Solar relying on Zerglings. He has 42 drones against just 34 SCVs, which, if he's actually in the counterattack, it looks like he might be able to cut off the reinforcements. But the Ghost, he does not have Cloak. Doesn't want to risk with the Hellions to back them up. Of course, covering the backs of the Ghost. And Solar, a little confused. So I want to make sure I get this one right. I'm going to retranslate it. And I know the translations aren't perfect, but I'm interpreting a bit. And I watched Solar stream. Yes. Solar says, why is the Ghost so strong? Beyond says, Ghost weaker than expected. Which really sums up the sort of balanced conversations we have in StarCraft 2. But we'll see as time goes on, because I think there's a significant likelihood that these are not the end of Ghosts that we're going to be seeing. Yeah, sure, Blizzard may have canceled 2 versions of them, but Beyond is working up the tech tree. He's got double engineering bank, a couple more barracks on the way. Still no Starfield. Notice if the snipes come out, just blast through, but the Queen transfuses. He gets a wraparound. The Ghost trying to slip away. The Hellions surrounded. And, well, eventually, the Ghost will be ripped apart by the ankle biters. And without a medevac or enough Hellions to protect them. Solar has shown that quantity has a quality on its own. 40 Zerglings, 3 Queens. But Solar with mass Queen Zergling is able to deal with the Ghost Hellion attack. Now, I will say I'm a bit disappointed, not surprised, that Beyond just did the most bare bones of possible attacks. I've seen versions, if you ever watched Deep Thermal's video, but I've seen versions with Hellbats, I've seen versions with a Maniac. Now, a lot of those versions are much more creative. They keep you from going further towards your upgrades or just your economy in general. The Beyond is no slouch there, as he has a third command center done, a fourth command center in production, double upgrades as well, but Silver will have an advantage on that front, which is kind of rare for Zerg. But a buff I neglected to mention, but is very relevant now, the Carapace upgrade across the board. The Carapace upgrade, which applies to all ground units, unfortunately not buildings, is 50/50 cheaper. Tier 1 is 150, is now 100 minerals and 100 gas, as opposed to 150, 150. So it's a pretty big savings across the board, and significantly easier to get those upgrades, especially in the early mid game, which we've entered into pretty solidly now. Solar, with a Hydraless dead on the way, neither side really pushing the envelope when it comes to unit compositions, besides doing one of the most lackadaisical ghost rushes. But Solar with just the Zerglings, unable to counterattack in a meaningful way. So, I need to talk about this, but it's not the time. Get off Apple Apps! I don't. It's so convenient. It doesn't work. Sorry. Find it for a second. So there is a new button, a low nearby units button that every dropship can use. So instead of having to select all of the Marines and right-click onto your medevac in order to pick up quickly, you can now press a single button to. I'm calling it slurping because before it just looked like players like Clement Beyond were slurping up the Marines, but it was actually quite a technical process. But right now, putting them back in medevac, I guess you could say, as Beyond slurps them up with that single button. And technically it works for dropper modes and more prisms as well. But I will say there is one race that usually has a tendency to focus on pinpoint dropship micro, and it usually has enough units to make it a meaningful change. Okay, I won't bear to leave you. It's Terran, obviously. War prisms can find a lot of use. Dropper lords, to be honest, whenever you send a dropper lord out, it's usually a one-way trip. There are a few scenarios where you're trying to manipulate your dropper lord in such a way that you're not juggling your markers in and out of your medevac. So, you're overbeing. But the Snorkel is in position. Silver's at 98 drones. So, and he has about let's be clear here. Solar has the vast majority of his side of the map, and he's clearly extending towards Beyond's. Beyond has 88 SCVs himself, a full 4-base economy, and counting. Still, the Solar's at 100 drones. So he's going for the full 300 supplies, sir. I don't know what happened to these rocks here. It really didn't finish them all, but I highly recommend, especially if you're trying to try out that new Hulu units button on the public test route. It's immediately useful. The fact that Beyond has implemented it in less than a week, and Beyond has barely implemented change in his gameplay in the last decade, should tell you how useful it is. It's just clearly better in about 95% of scenarios. But is it good enough to stop the Zerg? As there is nearly 100 supply of Hydra's Lings and Banes there and there. A big counterattack is lined up. The siege tanks on the high ground. Oh yeah, Vipers can now abduct siege tanks again. There and back again. So that is a big part of potentially dismantling entrenched positions, despite the relative and debatable strength of the Ghost. No, Fungal cannot interrupt Snipe. You can interrupt Snipe by killing the Ghost, but that's about it. Abduct also does. But damage no longer interrupts it. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but it seems relevant now. The siege tanks on the high ground. Beyond getting about as close as you can to a campaign player here, as he's got more CCs than a typical angry corporate email chain. And at some point, well, mules and scans and just the utility. That's how you invest your minerals in a later game. and become going with the kind of Brood War-esque switch into Mass Factory, a much more bio-curious composition. He has 8 barracks, 3 factories, but only 1 starport. No fusion core yet either. Single Marine, but Solar has metastasized against the majority, across the majority of the barracks. There's a couple Zerglings burned underneath. And, well, this sort of Zerg style is all about hammering the Terran economy. You will not be cost effective. The goal is to eventually be effective. So, if you deny him the 4th base and have like 5 or 6 more of your own, the Blinding Clouds to start, and on the back line will force him up the ramp, lunges forward, Bantling's rolling through, Beyond has the high ground, and Solar underestimated his power. Well, he tried to burrow a Hydra, but more orbital commands. It's orbit time. He's going to have 8. The ocean. Lands another command center. He has a few in reserve. There's a Nidus network on the way. As the direct assault on the front door strategy does seem to be met with diminishing returns for Solar. He's only lost 4,000 more resources. In fact, we're 13 minutes in, relatively few losses. Of course, we may have to recalibrate our expectations on the timing of the game, considering the 8-worker start. More command centers on the way. Lings. Ghosts. Well, a tactical Nidus at the front with the lurkers inside. You make the lurkers next to the Nidus can just shove them in immediately. Those are Nidus lurkers, okay? Just walking across the map. Well, that's how you get shell wagons. That's how it works. Meanwhile, the Nidus, another Nidus in the back corner, the tanks. Blinding Cloud. And, so 3-3 is done. Oh, wait a second. Is this, can't we kidnap the tank? What is this? Is the translation. And Beyond says, oh, I heard about a bug. I'm not going to bury the lead. I already know it's a bug. I wasn't sure if it was 100% in this game, but the Viper abduct against siege tanks doesn't work. And it's a real issue, and it's why Solar did not abduct those tanks. Because even though the patch notes say it, it doesn't. You still cannot abduct siege tanks. Which, well, let's hope they get that fixed soon. So it still seems, without abducting siege tanks, it's a good transposition to EMPs across the board with the Lings and Veins. The Hydras able to rip through the front line and Beyond losing a lot of ghosts, even though each one dying is so dramatic. And so on and so forth. That's just, I'm sorry, not trying to copyright it for it. The lurkers pop out of the Nidus. The Queen, with creep spread now all across Beyond's property, or what he would like to claim as it, but Solar has 10 hatcheries, 9 hatcheries, 8 hatcheries and a Queen, if we're going to be pedantic. And that does seem like a pretty big issue. In fact, a factory is finishing within the creep, which means he can't build any add-ons there until the creep. Creep now recedes and spreads slightly slower. Not significantly so, but I consider it a bit of a bug, because it takes longer for the creep to recede after being taken out. And usually that's when you want to fight, or roll the mainlings in, and potentially take out some ghosts. As Beyond's units are spread incredibly thin, he comes up to the high ground, a few more Hydras are going to go down. But right now, Solar is not nearly as much of an income gap as I expected. But Solar has 6,400 minerals. 2,200 gas. He slices through another command center, a greater spire on the way. The only buildings he's lost, 3 Nidus rooms. Not a single hatchery, not a single even piece of static defense. And 385 Zerglings, 75 Bigwings, but only 16 Hydrolysitic Festers so far. Another Nidus to the top right corner. He also has the bottom left. He's 3/4 of the way to that 4 corners big building. And Solar probably recalibrate now that Apparently, the Viper is still a little more impotent than expected. The Ghosts, on the other hand, um, seem to be firing on all cylinders, or at least one very large cylinder, which I show you another one, but your mother has the pictures. But meanwhile, the Zerglings over to the left side, the Lightning Cloud on the siege tank and the planetary. No, the Zerglings and Banelings are close enough that you can see it just fine from Mayberry. Meanwhile, the Lurker's trying to slice through, but the siege tank's outranging it. More ghosts on the high ground. Beyond losing track of things for a moment, we'll lose some extra ghosts. But there are plenty more of that keeper. Well, Solar has now lost. Honestly, he's actually lost less games. Despite everything, he's been very efficient about limiting the losses to Lings and Banes for the most part. Only 21 Riders, a few Lurkers, a single Infestor and Viper. But the majority of the losses have been relatively light. There's almost nothing more replaceable than Lings, Banes, and human workers. And right now, Solar only has two of those. I can subscribe for career dread. The Viper's blinding cloud, but beyond upon learning that those siege tanks would remain firmly entrenched, seems to have really upped the numbers. A lot of them get taken out with those two tanks on the high ground. 47 kills, 26 kills. Just looking down on all the Zerg. What does the Zerg have to say about it? And Solar is continually hammering the space. Look at Neon's fun. Despite the fact he seems to just not die, Beyond is under 1,000 minerals and under 1,000 gas. Solar is mining from, we see a mule mountain carved out of the income gap there. But the main base, despite having those few 400 extra minerals, the natural, so every base has 400 more minerals and 500 more gas, split between the geysers and the mineral patches. Which means you can turtle a little bit longer, but that also means Solar has more money to work with as well. And he's mining from obviously more bases. So beyond his funds are running a little short, and look at that spread. I can't believe it's not like probably crunchy feet of flutter, but like 7, 8, 9 tanks. Most of them will be taken out, and another command center driven away. More Ghost Slaughter, 27 SCVs dead over the punishment. And again, Solar will enter on the base. And again, beyond the walls, technically, his tanks at 59 and 37 kills, respectively. Another way. The ocean of Zerg trying to drown Neon in a tide of Lings and Banes. He's adding in a lot more Hellbats. He has 3-2 upgrades for which, and Hellbats, of course, only cost minerals. Marines have gone by the wayside a long ago, but there's still a few mixed in there. Lings and Banes, the Viper, looking for an opportunity. Some Zerglings make it into the former third phase. The fuel's dropping the planetary fortress, more Banelings rolling through. And Lightning Cloud on the tanks. The Hydras breaking in. But he took down the rocks to open up some space, but I think that fight just turned a corner. As Solar has now lost about the same amount of gas, but he's lost 10,000 more minerals. He's buying 12,000, but he lost a lot of Hydras. And Beyond maintains the majority, 60-30, over almost 100 kills on those tanks. The Ghost starting to rack him up as well. He doesn't have that many kills. Only 7. 13 siege tanks. So the Hydras, Lings, and Banes are coming in again. And Reap is still a springboard. And Solar making great use of the Hydra lunge. He breaks the base, but Beyond is left with 115 armies above, which is something Solar literally can't reach with his current drone character. And for the first time in like 15 minutes, Beyond steps out of his quadrant of the map and is burninating his way across the countryside and gunning down everyone in his path. And Solar may have dug too deep, It may be too greedily. The ghosts, despite their more fragile nature, I'm not just talking emotional, seeming to survive the brawl, and he takes out not one, not two, but three hatcheries in the top right corner, and most importantly, secures these are Beyond's only mineral patches. Besides these three over here, but he's about to run out. He's got 400 total minerals. So Solar, he's building corruptors. This is a very odd time for a potential Broodlord switch. Usually, well, at least historically, the Broodlords have been, unless you're Sarah, the Broodlords have been the choice when your opponent is so completely mined out they can't tech switch or reinforce anymore. The Viper goes tries to line up a shot. I assume they have flow, but he hasn't used it much. So Infestors now get Microbial Shroud built in and can cast it from more range. It still costs 100 energy, which is usually the main sticking point of the use of Microbial Shroud. But we will see Blinding Cloud on some Hellbats, which is of dubious value. And Beyond has is threatening the 12 o'clock face. The unit's lost as soon as Solar broke. Now he's going broke. He lost so much. The income count is still incredibly high, but Solar's bank is nearly dried up. Beyond lands another command star. He has 11 orbital commands, which means the mules can drop. And he still has plenty of scans to scan literally. Okay. Ah, yes, another bug. You can upgrade Microbial Shroud. It does nothing. But the upgrade is still on the infestation, which unfortunately for Solar is another thing that might cost him some valuable resources. But he still has the bank. The Broodlords. The Broodlords are scanned. So Beyond knows they're coming. But Broodlords against fast siege tank can turn the siege tanks against them. Now the Ghost, you can't hit a rook with snipes. Which, well, he's trying to kite back. The Infestors do have energy, but Fungal trying to get close with the Banelings is. Solar is maxed out. He's well, including the 30 or so supply of Zerglings he's built. Beyond. This is beyond. He's looking beyond breakable. And I'm not beyond understanding how we got this far. It looks like he was the underdog. But now it looks like he's beyond reason. That might be another game, though. The Hydraslings and mates from every side of the Thors are looking mighty thick. And the ghosts easily retreat back. They line up the shots. He didn't even have high-tech auto-tracking and building armor. He didn't even have the late-game turtle upgrades. And speaking of, the Broodlords will break through on the left socket. They won't be joining the fight to the top right anytime soon. Thor is here. Infestor. I don't know if we got to see any of the slime balls that throws out. The thing is, the Infestor has an attack of 6 range. The Ghost has an attack of 7 range. EMP is 10 range. Siege tanks are further than that. So, it might save an Infestor. Microbial. That's kind of sad. I mean, I guess it helps. But the Ghosts are just popping everything. Target practice here. I feel like, oh my, the Bakelink, what? There's still Bakelinks! They get 14 SCVs, but it's still 111, 11 army supply against 82. It's still Bakelings, Hydras, and Zerglings up against. Now, Massa Ghost, Thor, Hellbats. The cost of Beyond's army far outstrips that of Soul. And through all the fire and fury. Well, he's mining for the bottom left corner. But the Vikings and the Well, the tanks from the high ground eventually move out. Let's see if we can find it. There are too many. This tank has 61 kills, 38 kills. I think the tanks have probably near 1,000 kills at this point. 1,021 Zerglings, 229 Banelings dead. And I have to stress, that's how many Banelings died before attacking. When they attack, it does not count in the units lost, though the resources do make it there. Because of the quirk of the fact that when you attack, you succeed. You're not lost. But I can't help but feel the corner has been turned, as the income is not decisively in Solar's favor and hasn't been for a while. A single incredibly sad Brood Lord. But Beyond is now mining from the upper right quadrant. He made two off of one base. 3 or 4 mining bases is not going to make it much more difficult. There it goes. Will retreat behind the front line. The Buckle is thrown out while Ghost is mildly inconvenienced. The entire Zerg army is slightly more mildly inconvenienced. As the Ghosts, 16 of them, marching forward, almost untouched, besides that one that people are grossed out by. And, well, I'll line up their shots. Some lurkers. I feel like someone's just pressed off the button there. He does have cloak, but there is a score problem. Oh, well, I can't help but feel like a key part of the patch is the Viper being able to abduct siege tanks. And the fact that that is not implemented after a week is a big concern. If you watch my patch video, you'll know that most of my criticism is wondering if we'll never get any sort of fixes if things are broken. And I can't help, I didn't want to use the first game to have this plan, but that's a problem. I do think this game was somewhat decided by Solar assuming he had that ability, and rudely and painfully and very costly losing the fight decisively because he didn't. There was a clear moment when he obviously wanted to abduct the tanks, and he couldn't. So, now, this is not the biggest tournament. These two have played in this tournament dozens of times. They've been in the finals probably at least a dozen. So, legitimately just limit testing things right now. But still, beyond showing that despite the, in his words, the weakness of the Ghost, they still find a place in the all stages of the game. Well, we'll see. Now, personally, I think that early game Ghost can actually do even more damage. Beyond was running into the worst case scenario with the least preparation. And they still did okay. But just Hellions and Ghosts with no medevac definitely rely more on your opponent being unprepared. Solar does a 13-12. Now, I hope you appreciate even the first game. We started from the very start, the 8 workers. Now, for those who've been watching a little more closely in the past, will know that pretty much every game except game number 1, most series would be starting from the very beginning. It's just game 1. Usually people like to jump into the action, which was kind of the entire point of switching to 12 workers, like as the Void, but and we'll probably end up speeding along the first couple minutes of matches in the future if this change goes through. But we still got a whole series. So, and these two always go back and forth. I seriously doubt it's going to be a clean sweep unless Beyond has figured something out with Solar's plan. Which, we'll see. A very odd setup. Is he going to use a factory to wall? Oh, you don't need a second depot nearly as early as Terra, the way builds work out. I think he's going to wall off with a factory, or he's just leaving space for the reactor. I'm being too. No. Seen any good movies? How's the new Star Wars? Looks fun. Yeah, the Reaper on its way out. And, well, Solar has gone for the 13 hatch, but the Reaper will be there well before the first fleet. He goes straight into the main. That is a level of confidence that you rarely would see before this patch. He did cut just a bit to get the Reaper a little bit quicker. The Queen pops out, but putting some pressure on early for sure. The Queens and choosing to go for injects as well. No creeps run early. Just the single Reaper to contest it. Now, two more. Wait. You didn't kill an Overlord, did you? The Overlord hanging out. There's a pervert pillar much further. He goes to counter. It's another Ghost Rush. Hellions, Ghost. We'll see if he adds on the Armory for Helmets. But certainly, well, we're going to call Silver. Now, the struggle for Sir is not so much countering Ghost, in my humble and modest opinion. A lot of smart people in the comments say those things. It's not me. They're not kidding. But so the Overlord is so unbelievably slow without Overlord speed that there is no chance of actually getting it into the main race to scale. If you go for Overlord speed, you spend 100 gas to do so. In which case, as Scarlet said, I've just spent 100 gas to see what's going to kill me faster because I spent 100 gas getting Overlord speed. So, and another Overlord. Get out! Hey, why are they so slow? We look positively spry! Because everyone who makes the patch is Terrans, right? Just statistically. It's not like in game, just a general. What? That's really meta, Brenda. I'm just saying. I don't. So, one Overlord goes down, which partly Sublime Log Solar. There's a single Ghost on the way, which, a 75 energy for a snipe. You only get one. But of course, well, lines up the shot. And War Queen is gone down. Hello and goodbye. And don't forget, it does way more damage in general at lower range. So even though the Hellions are pretty weak against the Roaches, the Ghost is doing 20 damage, well, 19 damage a shot.
Oh.
So Beyond walks in, and I believe he may have just won the game. A bunch of Roaches on. Solar was going for a two-face Roach time with speed. Unfortunately, Black Ghost. And a few, of course, the Hellions are kind of important for him. Lines up another shot, and you may think the Roaches counter the Ghosts, but they were all of them deceived. Because the Ghost would. So, this is a real. I'm actually talking about this. The Ghost has more range and moves faster than a Roach on Creep. If you don't get Roach speed, which Solar rushed to and did not have it by the end of this game, you cannot touch the Ghosts with Roaches. They can just kite them. And they do 19 damage a hit. We increase the flat damage for some reason, while also increasing their range. On top of the snipe one shot. It is, well, 2-0 beyond. And a curious set of changes, which now, yes, they might cost their supply. They might have less HP. But neither of those things matter very much if you can't hit them. At least that's my analysis. So, game number 3. And this is starting to look a bit more one-sided than only a script. Game 1 Solar, clearly an A plan. Now, Beyond is a master of driving towards the end game. Obviously, we saw the early game mostly in the last one, but if the map starts mining again, that's when Beyond hits his power spike again. But you've got the first units coming in. The first time with like Marines and Predators. And that it drops off a bit. usually be able to lose some map control once the Zerg has enough supply to shut everything down. But as the map starts lining out and we start actually getting into the beam counter phase, which has a tendency to happen with the Turtley's time. Then beyond, he's patient. I ran the numbers before this. Both of these players have played within a few hundred, 15,000 professional games over the last 16 years. Those are just ranked tournament matches. 15,000. And they both won over 60% of them. Which, against records, how many people here have even played 15,000 games of StarCraft 2? 1v1. There's a few out there. There are dozens of them. But to play that many times, what am I trying to say? A lot of experience. Not a veteran sequel. Not a patience. Though it also means that changing things up, like neither of them have historically been big innovators. I guess you could, besides Beyond getting the Reaper nerfed not once but twice, by just continuing to abuse it to such an extent it was almost forced to be nerfed. And is only just really good now instead of obscenely good. It's just get more time to appreciate the scenery. Beyond goes Command Center first. Now, the Overlord won't get there until. Well, there's a chance the Marine comes out and strikes off the Overlord. Anyways. But this is, in my opinion, the kind of issue. The Overlord is. It was nerfed in speed because with less workers, the cost of SCV scouting or probe scouting is great. Like, it's a greater percentage of your economy. Of course, for Beyond, it's usually about 0% of his economy because he very rarely actually scouts. So, the Overlord will spot the command center, the orbital command. He does know this was a command center first bit. Though he knows he has a little bit more leeway, a third base is on the way. Circling speed. And just a Zergling to poke around and see how much info gets. He spotted the. It is very important to see the factory. Because with Beyond especially, it could easily be 2-3 breaks. So he does see the factory, though it doesn't necessarily have to be Helios. It is a Helios. He hasn't actually flipped it over. He's still building reactor Marines, which is something a little bit different. Single Hellion headed across. I don't think this is going to end up being Ghost this time. We've seen 2 Ghost Rushes. Just completely coincidentally, Beyond is up 2-0. But looks like he's going to shy away from it for game number 3. We're going to do a medevac Marine with incremented Hellion, which we'll call that the Sizzle Crisp build. It's raining men. And Zerglings are getting charred, right? So, the old Sizzle Crisp working title. Meanwhile, the Overlord retreated to a more obscure location, which means he's not going to see the medevac come out, but he also won't be losing the Overlord to the first medevac or the Marine to the side, more accurately. Solar he has nothing but drones and he doesn't have an evo chamber, no Bane Nest, no Glare, no nothing. They drop the natural. Will just kind of not do anything. The Hellions will try to dart into the third and will also not do anything. So that, well, Solar is going to be completely comfortable. The The creep spread is slightly stalled. Occasional creep tumors, but he's got the queen defense teams, the creep defense teams on either side. 2 queens are not quite enough, but the threat of Zerglings is keeping here. Another creep tumor will be sniped. The medevac still 20 HP. Just the back and forth. And creep. Now, creep tumor is still built at the same speed. It's just the creep from them spreads marginally slower. The Liberator is demonstrating how still it technically has an anti-air attack and gives away its position. So Beyond with the most laissez-faire here sort of attack style. He's got all the pieces of something dangerous, but none of them are coming together. Almost loses the Liberator. The medevacs that have HP, the Hellions are outbroken, and he's taken his third. But Solar has done perfectly fine on his end of things. He's got a lair on the way, the 1-1 upgrades, but Beyond will have it bad. Building up with some more. Stim is not too far, but a Zergling counterattack is well positioned. I don't think the Liberator will discourage too much here. And as Zergling's kind of a soft counter, as there's so many targets, the Liberator can only pop them so fast. The War SCV is down. Stim in 1-1 about to complete. And the creep spread has been pushed relatively far back to the point that Solar doesn't have any visuals. He is just building banelings. He's only got 68 runs. He's adding some more. But with 1-1 and baneling speed on the way, he's already in a pretty comfortable spot when it comes to defending early on. The banelings will knock out a couple depots and the SCVs working on because he saw the liberation zone was still there. Meanwhile, the queens following a few hellbats mixed in. He got an armory, mostly for the upgrades, but why not? A single Widow Vibe will be dealt with. And the Marines are pushed back. He doesn't have Bane speed, but he will. That slurp. The load command. It's so smooth. Before players were, when you saw it, the hot pickups, it was several actions. But now, well, let's see. Here we go to the Beyond Action Cam. Building up back it on. Baneling speed is about to complete most importantly. He knows he's dealing with a mass retargets onto the Bane to he gets a feel. Well, that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Well, beyond prioritizing is Widowmine micro, which you can do. The moment it's targeting, you can switch to any target in range. It's one of those things that's not super obvious, but we do have the targeting behind it. Automatically it locks onto the nearest target, but you can reset. So it has to reset the lockout time, which is sometimes a good thing, as we've seen before. And well, wait, there's more. Slurps up the rest. Marines and mines down the center. No medevacs here to support them. Just trying to put together a minefield that we've already seen have great effect. The Hydras are chasing down the medevacs. They found a couple Marines that dropped out a bit too quickly. The Zerglings will drag out the Widowmines. Unfortunately, well, gonna back off. But wait, there's more. The Minecraft gameplay. I'm expecting 10 million views on this video at this level of Minecraft gameplay. Okay. Maybe I need to put the storyline together. Brenda, where is the creep? You've asked that for the last 73 episodes. Well, it's not my fault. This game has been pretty much the same for the last 10 years. What did he say about getting them? Honestly, I don't remember. See, now that's pretty bad. Sorry. The minefield, but he drags a lot of them forward, and Widowmoth's work both ways. You're into the Marines, the banelings are rolling through, beyond doubt, 30 supply. And what does he have left? 0 siege tanks, the 0 mines. Well, 1 siege tank immediately set for the units lost out. The SCVs He doesn't have the economy, he doesn't have the supply, he doesn't have the units, and he doesn't have the game. Solar just rolling through, and it looks like he'll battle back in game number 12. Would you die already? So Beyond did take out a hatchery with the drop to the 12 o'clock, but that's too much, right? You can't recover from it, right? He's targeting down one after another, drops a stable of mules. Okay, GG. Solar strikes back in a pretty straightforward fashion. Beyond notably zero ghost rushes and a command center first. It's truly felt like Solar embracing the full Zerg. He managed to get so much so quickly. And Beyond just gets run over. A curious choice. Possibly, well, I'm sure these players are doing a bit of limit testing as well. While they'd love to win the tournament, they're already in the top 2, which is the vast majority of the prize pool. Which you can have your debates about that. But and we see Beyond trying out the command center for Solar with a very macro-oriented build behind it. Did not make any attempt to punish the command center first. No roaches, no there, nothing. Just pure drones and relying on queens and lakes to defend, which is not an original idea, but it seems to still be effective. Is the extractor trick to get 13 supply. He's going to get hatched before he over. Yeah. So, using the extractor to lower your spot when a drone becomes a build. I know there's probably a few new viewers out there. Welcome and thank you. And now maybe I should make these explanations in game number 1 as opposed to game number 4. But if you've made it this far, well, of course, to everyone, like and subscribe. But also, well, now for all the drama and excitement about a new match, and that might be why you're either coming back or joining for the first time. Know that even if people are going to get worked up about it, that's because they care. And all I see is people caring very loudly in many different ways. And that's because we all want the best thing for the game. Now, what is the best thing? Now, that's another comment. And the question up for debate. Thus, the caring. Thus. I was explaining extractor trick and got a little sidetracked. But extractor trick is because when a drone becomes a building, you get one less supply because you no longer have a drone. So you pop into an extractor for a second. You can build another drone with that extra supply, and then you cancel it immediately, giving you 13 out of 12 or whatever the number ends up being. And it's used to pop another drone or unit out quicker without having to build an overlord or before your overlord finishes. It's pretty common, though I don't recommend trying it unless you know what you're up to in early game builds. And a lot of Zergs have been trying different versions of it with the new hatch and the worker camp because you get the hatchery provides 12 supply. Well, the overlord provides 8, the hatchery provides 4. Let's be very accurate. Which doesn't give you a lot of room. Solar does another extractor trick to get a queen on there, or another set of Zerglings out ready before his overlord comes out. And those sets of Zerglings might be very important, as the Reaper shows up well before the queen finishes. The drone coming down the ramp. And just, well, the Reaper. Chicanos and the Dwarf. I don't. I'm just saying. Sorry. Oh. The Overlord wandered a little too far. Wow, how sporting of the that has to be my moment. So the Overlord should have died. I don't. Why is the Overlord so slow, so rare? Beyond it translated as Overlord twice, which is a weird thing to say, but beyond it being very sporting here, that kind of confirms the idea that even though they're competitive, they also want to actually see how the game has changed. And he lets the Overlord live because on this map with the pervert pillar here, where the Overlord um, is safe from early Marines because you don't have high ground in it. Solar should have had it there. That was just an elementary mistake of Dear Watson. And Beyond actually lets it keep it alive because otherwise we're not going to get a very good gauge of the state of game. Losing that first Overlord is absolutely, utterly devastating. Not just because of the lack of scouting, but because it's a significant percentage of your spline. Now, no ghost, but instead another cloak unit. The Banshee is on the map. As you call him, a Banshee Evangelist. A Banshee Evangelist, if you will. Though, with the changes to the ghost, I might not be as committed to it. I still think the Banshee's amazing. The ability to force such a strong response and have defense. There's a reason why Protoss goes Oracle in every single Protoss versus Sir. Okay, and the same principles apply to Terran versus Zerg. I don't see why they wouldn't. You want to have a unit